defenseless people that are slaughtered. It is absolutely horrific because it's hundreds of thousands of people's lives at stake. It's the largest displacement crisis, the largest humanitarian crisis, the largest emergency on earth today.
On to this now. Health experts say South Africa is facing a severe health challenge. This after the global burden of disease forecast a massive 181% surge in dementia prevalence by 2050. This is an almost threefold increase. Experts say an aging population and longer life expectancy are largely driving the situation. Neurologist Dr. Harsha Patel.
Right now, the most common type of dementia is Alzheimer's dementia, which we really can't do much about, besides for trying to improve the mental or rather cognitive reserve that patients have. But in terms of the Department of Health, the second leading cause of dementia is vascular dementia, and this can be addressed by looking at vascular risk factors such as dyslipidemia or high cholesterol, diabetes, hypertension, sedentary lifestyle, and going forward, looking at these different factors can reduce, hopefully, the vascular dementia burden.
And partners and children of Gazan students coming to the UK partners and children of Gazan students coming to study in the UK will now be able to join them, the government has confirmed. It marks a reversal of the original policy, which only supported the evacuation of the students themselves. Each application will be considered on a case-by-case basis, a government spokesperson said, with dependents needing to meet certain requirements, including providing they can cover living costs. Some students had previously said they would not be able to travel to the UK to take up their university scholarships because it would involve leaving their children behind. A recap of your top story. Tanzania's elections are set to be announced in 3 days, with President Samia Suluhu Hassan expected to win a second term. For any news stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I am Matapela Mahape.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Well, let's get going. Thank you to our Sanda for getting us up in the morning. Thank you, Sanda, for making sure that we know what's happening on the African continent. This is On the Move. You just joined us right now at 9 o'clock. We'll be with you until midday Central African time. And we're going to be moving with you with multiple exciting themes on just lifestyle topics of the continent. But most importantly, how do we have better families? How do we have better careers? But essentially, it's also about how do we navigate even the challenges of the continent in a way that is respectful of others and is kind of also respectful of yourself. I think that's such an important thing around who we are as Africans. I think sometimes we lose that idea of, the sentiment of Ubuntu, that you are because others are. You're not in this world on your own, and you have to really consider your tribe whenever you make moves. Well, we're going to be starting on a relationship level, and speaking about, the generation that grows older. It's very interesting that we almost close the door that they can date. I think I've done this for my mother as well. I was like, no, mom, at this age, you can't date anymore. No. I think I did this with my aunt as well. I was like, guys, now you guys are old enough just to do your own thing, live your own lives, and be independent as women, right? And I think that was not cool of me, because I think I've got that stereotype that growing older is like closing the door on love. If you haven't found it in your younger years, then just let it go. In fact, for many seniors, later life can actually open up new opportunities for companionship, emotional growth, and understanding. with years of experience and also kind of a clearer understanding of what truly matters to you as an individual, older adults often approach dating with a renewed sense of confidence and authenticity. We'll be speaking around this and speaking about the evolving landscape of romance and the joys and challenges of finding love at the later stages of life. We'll be speaking to Frank Edem Adofoli on that one, a relationship counselor. Hey, it is a Thursday, so it's time for us to check out Becoming feature. And today we're going to be speaking about grief, right? And grief usually comes in a pang that is very painful, and it can be quite dilapidating in terms of emotionally, but it can also kind of shift your life, right? Somewhere within that pain can actually be dormant as time goes, but resurface. And the thing is, we have to find ways to deal with that mourning. And the whole idea of time heals, it doesn't always work. It's not always something that someone will say, yeah, over time, I got over my son. I got over my partner. I got over this an individual. It's not that easy. Today we're going to be speaking about reclaiming the narrative of grief, not as something to get over, but as a part of who you are becoming. Because that's the thing, we think grief is just a moment, but how do we take grief and healing as something not just about forgetting, but about remembering differently and finding power in the person we emerge as on the other side? Funeka Memela is a grief counselor and will help us understand grief from an empowering perspective, right? And then we've got our parenting and family corner. We're going to be speaking about high performing children. Love this one because I always tell my friends, I'm like, why is your kid doing so many things in one go? And they're always like, because they want to. It's their choice. I can't stop them. And that's the thing. How do you regulate that intense pressure? Maybe that unrealistic expectations that you're going to keep that going your entire schooling career. But also there's heightened sensitivities when failure comes at a particular point, and also the experience of burnout. We'll speak on this with our friend Ayanda Tekiana, a behavioral science consultant and parent coach. So many cool conversations. You can join us live on our handle at Channel Africa 1 on YouTube. We are running live. Don't go anywhere if you are listening to us on radio in our traditional ways. It's also okay. But if you find yourself moving about and you're like, you know what, I want to check out what's happening in studio, I want to be part of the studio experience, remember that we are right there on YouTube. Check us out on our Channel Africa page, and also we're on Facebook running simultaneously with that broadcast. Our Facebook page is simply titled Channel Africa. Let's get going on the move.
AUSISA, the Association of Water and Sanitation Institution of South Africa, is a platform uniting Africa's water professionals. This November, Africa leads the conversation on water and sanitation. Join global and African leaders at the AUSISA Africa and Global South Dialogue 2025 from the 9th till the 12th of November at the Emperor's Palace, Johannesburg. From policy innovation, this is where action meets collaboration for a water-secure future. Register today at ausisa-watersan-dialogue.org or follow at AUSISA on social media. AUSISA, working together for sustainable water and sanitation security in Africa. Get set and be ready to go. On the move.
Hey, you are listening to On The Move with myself, Benjamin Moshatama. Palisa will be with us soon enough. On Monday, she'll be back in action right here on Channel Africa. And yeah, man, it is us missing her, but we have to keep the conversations going. And in our first hour, we'll be speaking about growing old and what it means for a romantic relationship. Is it all about the fact that you are too old to even engage sexually, or maybe your sexual desires are not relevant there, but also that human connection with someone that you can have intimate companionship? Are those moments over when you post your 50s or even your 70s? No. it's not the case, because many seniors later in life find it easy actually to navigate relationships, to find that companionship and emotional kind of certainty in another person. With the years that they have, they probably have a clear understanding of who they are and also how to discern others in terms of if someone is someone they would like to be with, whether it's rediscovering romance after loss, forming a deep friendship, or simply enjoying shared interests. Elderly dating celebrates the enduring human need for connection. It's a reminder that love at any age is timeless. We speak on this with Frank Adem Adofoli, who's a relationship counselor. Hey, Frank, welcome. It's great to have you on the show.
Benjamin, thanks for having me.
Yeah, this one is probably going to unnerve others, especially if you have an elderly parent, because it's us children who are like, Mom, why are you thinking of dating? Why do you need a relationship interest? No, those days are over. But no, man, we're putting the elderly in a particular stereotype, aren't we?
Very true. If our culture settings, based on our own experiences in terms of relationship, how we see family settings, sometimes we form a close attachment for over the years. And when this attachment comes to an end, there's a need for you to reconnect with other people because there's a need for you to be with someone. But your close family thinks that someone coming in is like replacing their old friends, their father or mother, replacing their old in-laws. And sometimes something that going into such a relationship, you might end up experiencing the same outcome. Maybe if it's a broken heart or disappointment, you might go through the same thing. So our own perceptions stop us, our own family stop us. And sometimes there's also fear of rejection, that I might not be the ideal partner for these particular persons. And lastly, if we have gone through a terrible experiences, in terms of trust, it's difficult to trust. It's difficult to be vulnerable before another person. And even integrating a new person before your family, meeting your children, your brothers and sisters is difficult because of the question they will ask and so on and so forth. Are you doing the right thing? You think this will end very well? Are you not too old for this? Why don't you focus on other things inside of relationships? Mm-hmm. So it makes it difficult for you to get into a relationship when you are at those age.
Yeah. And I think it's because of the stereotypes that we've created. But how do we untangle ourselves from some of those stereotypes that you've just mentioned, of us thinking that we're not worthy of companionship in our later years?
I was speaking to a client yesterday, and the client said, I have health at the age of 75 years, but I'm feeling lonely. I need a relationship, but I'm afraid that society might accept that. So I asked, do you know emotional health is also part of health? Being connected with somebody that you're happy with is also not part of health. And he was very happy to hear that. Our family need to know that being healthy is not only about physical, it's not only about mental. Having a good relationship also add up to your life. So if we have been doing certain traditions, repeating certain mistakes in the past, which have not been healthy, we can learn from that and do something else. If they have any opinion, any views, what we can do is give them an opportunity to speak about those views, those fears, and be able to help them to take care of that, but not to just dismiss it. Once we are doing that, we also involve them in the dating process. If we are bringing in someone, we want to have that group conversation, that group dinner, so they also get to know the person as a friend on that personal level. So those kind of stereotypes, because of where you are coming from, what happened to my sister or my brother, you might do the same thing. Those conversations can also help take care of those stereotypes as well.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about the fact that you are older now and you can't just go to a club and find someone, right? You can't just simply go to a bar and just meet someone of your own age, right? How do you get back in the dating scene if you are feeling lonely and maybe you want to meet someone in your later years?
It's challenging. And for the older people, not going to the club, as you said, the bar and so forth. But then look at other social events or interaction that we can take advantage of. Is it a funeral we are going to? Is it a next wedding? And you are the next wedding guest. It's an opportunity for you to meet somebody. Is it a church or religious activities? it's an opportunity to meet somebody. And sometimes going on just a window shopping, going on a social place just to have time for yourself, or a park, it gives you opportunity to meet someone. And in our later age now, we are in a digital age. So the use of apps for meeting other people, we could explore that. But just be mindful that not everybody we meet on these apps are who they say they are. So we will not just trust them just for who they are, but we go beyond the app to meet the person behind. So we can try a social event. We can also try the technology by using this app or social media pages or accounts to be able to interact or get to know new people.
Okay, that's an interesting one. And making that connection is probably a harder one because when you do make a connection with someone, I see a lot of the elderly kind of feeling guilty for that feeling of wanting that connection. How do you break through those feelings of guilt? We'll unpack them after the break as we continue to speak on that one. But also, how do we bring also our community to understand that now I'm in a romantic relationship with someone? And, you know, I've noticed also sometimes you'll get an elderly person being attracted to even a younger individual. And we also have taboos around that one. We know with the president of France, there's been a lot of speculations around that relationship and people having a lot of, stereotypical things to say about that couple. I just think we're not used to it as well, seeing maybe a younger man with an older woman of maturity. What's your take on that one as well, Frank? I'll come back to you after the break. That's Frank Adam Adofoli, a friend on the show, usually helping us in relationship matters. He's a relationship counselor. What's your take on dating older? Let us know on that live stream. Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's a good thing? At times, some people would say that, a person would be taking advantage of in terms of their elderly status, and people must be careful there. What's your take? +276 406 9126. Let us know on our WhatsApp number, or you can comment on those live chats on our live streams.
Got something to say? Are you passionate about issues that matter?
Do you have a voice that deserves to be heard?
Well, we've got the perfect platform for you. Call in or drop us a WhatsApp on +2763 406 9126.
And we will call you back.
So you could have your say and be part of the conversation.
30 years of age. I just turned 30 on the 15th of November. So that's who I am,
It's not just talk. It's your chance to air your views.
Share your opinion.
Engage with a community that values your perspective.
Follow us on our social media.
Visit our website at www.channelafrica.co.za
And get ready to share your views
on Channel Africa,
the African perspective. Download the SABC app and take Channel Africa with you everywhere you go.
Hey, you're listening to Channel Africa, DSTV Channel 802, OpenView 628. Those are the audio bouquets where you can find us. And remember, we're also on the SABC Plus app. We have so many platforms where you can check us out. So do download the SABC app as well, and you can listen to us 24/7. We're speaking to Frank Adam Adofoli today, relationship counselor, while delving on the evolving landscape of romance and joy that can be found in finding love later in life. And there's also challenges, so we'll also speak about those. And Frank, let's come into that guilt conversation where, maybe two elderlies have met at church, maybe they've met at the gym, and there's that connection, right? But at times they feel guilty, not guilty because they just have that feeling because of some of the stigmas that we've spoken about, but mainly because of what others would think of them starting a relationship at a later age. What's your take on that?
It's rather challenging that when we are in a family, church, or community, we want people around us to understand us. And these same people will not take time to even understand how we feel, understand our thoughts, but able to make a certain assumption of have a perspective about what we do. That makes it so challenging. So if you are that age and you've met somebody, you would like to connect with the person, you would like to have a relationship with the person, and you're having that kind of guilt, you're not doing anything bad. You should have that at the back of your mind. I'm not doing anything bad. People might not understand my needs. We all have needs. Your needs might differ from my needs. Maybe at a place in their life, relationship or emotional connection, having a company is not a need for them, but this is a need for you. So I'm going to focus on that need and nurture that relationship, irrespective of what people sees. Another thing that is very important is if you come across anybody who seems to be disrespectful towards you because of your choices or your relationship or your needs, you should be able to get a person closer to you to let a person know that such behavior does not help you. If it's a family, introduce the person to your family. Let the family know that, look, I have a needs. I'm not doing anything bad. I'm just want to have a good company for the few years I have on earth. And what I want my loved one to do is to understand me and give me that kind of support. If there's any advice, any opinions, any views, they should feel free and speak to me about it, not to speak behind me or disrespect me and that of my partner or my friend. If that happened, that might hurt me. I believe having that open and honest conversation can also help take care of some of these stereotypes and these kind of behavior which are not healthy for older people dating.
Mm-hmm. And also, these relationships of companionship don't always have to be romantic, right? Because at times they can just be friendships. And you have to be discerning as, the person to say, okay, could be a great friendship that unfolds here. I'll give you an example of my grandmother. There was a time I'm like, hey, there's this gentleman of her same age, I think they were they met in the late 60s, and maybe their friendship continues until around 75 when one of them passed away. But they had such a great friendship. But when this gentleman, Frank, was coming in the house, I was like, who is this old man? And what does this old man want from my grandmother? Huh? No, man, this shouldn't be the case. And over time, I saw that friendship develop because I was like, okay, this is just a companionship. These are two elderly statesmen and women spending time together. They would have coffee together, tea together. At times, this elderly man will help my grandmother with some furniture, moving things around, and you'll just let them be, right? Because this was their companionship that they enjoyed together. And it seems like they enjoyed each other's company and each other's conversations. So it's not always romantic. At times, it can just be a friendship.
Very true. Good observation. I've observed that over the years. Look, at that age, at the older age, in terms of being intimate, having this romantic kind of relationship or needs are not their focus. They want a company to enjoy a good time, have a good conversation, enjoy quality time, have a quality time together. So if they meet someone who is able to give them that particular quality time or create the interaction that they will enjoy, it helps them. Imagine you come on a retirement, you don't have any active service, and then the home is boring. Everyone is going to work, everyone is happy with their life. And your life is so difficult because you don't know what to do to occupy yourself for the next hour until the other colleagues or friends or your family come back. If you have a friend that you could go to the beach, to the park, and have a good time by talking, sharing that company is more like a help for you because it makes you happy. So we should understand that that age is not about romantic relationship. It's not about being sexually intimate, but it's about meeting that need of having a companion, a friend that can share a quality time together, and have a good conversation or share a certain interest as a family. And we should be able to encourage that. When we do that, you'll see them very happy around us. And when they are happy, what it means is we are also happy because you love to see your loved one happy. And that's something that makes you happy as well.
Okay, let's come to this dynamic where an elderly person is dating a very young person. I've seen that being kind of celebrated in some corners of social media, but also criticized, where others are saying, you know what, we're breaking the pattern of gender discrimination when it comes to romance. But others are saying, hey, there's something, maybe there could be sinister here. Maybe this person wants this old man's money. Maybe this young man wants this lady's estate. What do you think about the elderly dating younger individuals?
It comes with its own challenges. The younger has different set of needs. The older person has different set of needs. So probably sometimes the older one is looking for a friendship, a companion. The younger one have other aspirations, maybe career-wise, maybe be able to attain some financial needs, maybe he needs somebody as a guidance who guide him or mentor him, him or she or he. So in that relationship, they look at vis-a-vis their needs. How can we meet each other's needs? So it's not true that every younger person gets into such a relationship just because they are looking for money and then wanted to find a dubious way to take the money or take advantage of the older person. Look, the older persons will tell you they are very smart. They know themselves. They've had a lot of experience. They don't just throw money or things away just like that. But what they like is they want to be with somebody who is honest, somebody who is open, someone who does not hide. And one of the challenges with such a relationship also is if the younger one is gravitating to more sexual needs and the older one cannot meet that need, it becomes a challenge. And so they don't know when to end such a relationship. Because sometimes the older people tell the younger one that, look, if you meet somebody who is ready to get married to you, because I cannot be able to get married to you and meet certain needs for you, let me know. So at what point in time do we entertain another person? What point in time do we end this relationship and transition to another one? It becomes a challenge. So, and in all this, if you're a family member, a friend, and you see your parents or an elderly in your family closer to you, meeting a younger one, what you want to do is get closer to the younger one. Get closer, because when you're closer to them, have a good relationship, like a friendship, you help to know their motives. You also help to tell your older family member, this person is in for a good reason or bad reason. But when you are away, far away, and you are making judgments, you are not helping at all. So when we are closer, we see things better.
Frank, I think we've covered so many areas of this conversation. Thank you so much. Where do we find you online?
My page is Frank Edem Adufoli on Facebook. My website is counseladufoli.com. You can look for me on any other platform, Counselor Adufoli, and you can connect with me. My office is on the Spinters Road in Accra for the Marriage Consult Limited.
All right. Thank you so much, Frank. Thank you for joining us once again. And thank you for being our friend here on The Move and on Channel Africa. Always love having you here on the show.
Thanks for having me, Benjamin. I enjoyed the conversation.
Hey, that's Frank Edem Adufoli, a relationship counselor. Hey, do you think you can find love at an older age? And I'm not talking about you in your late 30s or maybe your 40s. I think sometimes we think that's old, but it's not really old. I'm speaking about those post maybe retirement age, and they trying to continue to see if they can find love. And is that a realistic thing? Give us your thoughts on our live chats, and remember our WhatsApp number +27 63 406 9126. Hey man, it's time for us to move on. It's 9:31 Central African time. Let's get the sports.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
We begin with boxing news. South African pugilist Siyakolwa Kuse fell short in his world-title bid, losing on points to WBC strawweight champ Melvin Jerusalem in Manila. But the South African impressed with a fearless performance on the 50th anniversary of the Thriller in Manila. Jerusalem edged it 115, 113, 115, 113, and 116 and 112. Though many felt Kuse's early aggression made it closer than the scorecards showed. Securing world titles unification must be the priority for Jerusalem in 2026, potentially an all-Filipino fight with IBF belt holder Pedro Taduran. Next, after his own points win over a courageous Christian Balunan effort a few days prior to the headline, the first of the two Thriller in Manila 2 shows at the San Andres Sports Complex in Manila, the Philippines. Motor racing, Swiss racing driver Laura Villas filed legal action against motorsports governing body to challenge FIA election rules, which she argues prevent her or any other candidate from running against incumbent President Mohammed Ben Sulayem. The legal summons seen by AFP requests a Paris court to order the suspension of the FIA presidential election until a ruling is made over the dispute. The election is due on the 12th of December, and a court hearing has been set for the 10th of November. Election regulations amended in June by the current leadership require candidates to appoint vice presidents from each of the 6 global regions chosen from a list approved by the FIA. Now, football news. South Africa's under-17 men's national football team, Amajimbo's coach, Vela Khumalo, has confirmed his final squad for the upcoming FIFA Under-17 World Cup in Qatar, amid reports of turbulent preparations. The Under-17 World Cup will be held in Qatar from the 3rd to 7th of November. The late squad announcement has been viewed as a reflection of off-field challenges during the build-up to the tournament. Head coach Khumalo's side has been placed in Group A, where they will come up against host Qatar, Italy and Bolivia. Notably, none of these teams featured in the previous edition in 2023 and will now hope to make an impact. This marks South Africa's first appearance at the Under-17 World Cup since 2015 and their 4th qualification through the AFCON knockout stages. South Africa will open the campaign and the tournament on the 3rd of November before taking on Qatar on the 6th of November. Now, cricket news. Proteas right-arm medium bowler Marizanne Kapp edged her name into cricketing history, becoming the ICC Women's World Cup's all-time leading wicket taker with a 44th scarp, surpassing the legendary Jhulan Goswami. Her fiery spell of 5 for 20 dismantled England's top order. Kapp, that's Marizanne Kapp. She credits the team's composure for their victory.
There was a calmness in the group this morning for some reason. We just felt like what will happen will happen. And yeah, I think once we lost the toss, I was actually happy that we batted first. Just looking at the stats of this ground and how it's been going this World Cup, I feel like they probably felt like they were going to roll us over, like we did in the first game against them. But I feel like our 2 openers set it up beautifully for us to come in and just play our natural game.
For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, File Lingwadi.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Africa at Play with Neto and ETO Chemane.
I've witnessed something fresh, something exciting, and something very inspirational from the president of the country, William Ruto. Whenever athletes are performing to their best level, he always comes on board to reward those athletes, be it football, be it athletics, and not leaving it up to the sport ministry.
The president realizes that sport is a business, and for that reason, he also reduces the number of people who are jobless, because sports now is such a serious business, and for that reason, commercialization of sport is a major way of improving or increasing employment opportunities for the young people, and that is why the president has been very persistent in trying as much as possible to inspire more sports personalities to reduce the baggage of the people who are struggling to get job opportunities in the country among the young people.
Francis F.M. Motegi, our correspondent from East Africa in Nairobi, Kenya.
Live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. We are on Open Views Audio Bouquet. Channel 628.
Well, thank you so much, Fiyile. Let's move on right now and get the latest business news.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Benjamin, and good morning. The National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, NUMSA, is expected to march to the National Treasury in Pretoria tomorrow. The union is demanding government to stop conducting business with the private security companies that are reportedly not complying with collective agreements. NUMSA's spokesperson, Phakamile Hlubi-Majola, says it's a disgrace that workers in the security sector must protest for what is lawfully and rightfully theirs. Hlubi-Majola revealed that security companies are defrauding workers by deducting money for medical insurance and pension fund, but not paying it over to the service provider. She says that they will be handing over a memorandum of demands.
Security companies are defrauding workers by deducting money for medical insurance and pension fund, but not paying it over to the service provider. This means that when workers have to claim for medical insurance or pension fund, there are not enough funds or no funds at all.
BMW South Africa and Opel Astra SA are recalling some of its vehicles due to seat belts and the driver airbag inflator not manufactured correctly. The National Consumer Commission says it has received recall notifications from both motor vehicle companies. The Commission's Petron Daba says BMW is recalling just over 70 vehicles, while Stellantis are recalling Opel Astra H models manufactured between 2004 and 2006, as well as the J models manufactured from 2009 to 2015.
BMW South Africa is recalling a total of 75 vehicles, 1 Series, 2 Series, X1 as well as X2. According to the manufacturer, one of the seatbelts in the affected vehicles may not have been manufactured correctly. On the other hand, Stellantis South Africa, they are recalling Opel Astra J and Opel Astra H, which were made available from 2004 to 2015.
The South African Social Security Agency has refuted claims that beneficiaries will be receiving double payment for their social grants. The agency's spokesperson, Andile Chona, has urged beneficiaries not to entertain information that doesn't come from credible sources.
SASSA would like to state that this is not true, and that as SASSA we urge all our beneficiaries and the public at large not to entertain this misinformation, as there has been no announcement of social grants double payment by SASSA or government.
Nigeria's parliament has approved President Bola Tinubu's request to borrow $2.85 billion from international debt markets, including the country's first ever issuance of a sovereign sukuk. Tinubu asked Parliament earlier this month to approve new international borrowing and authorize the issuance of a $500 million debut sovereign sukuk. Tinubu says that the new funds would be used to part finance the budget deficit and refinance maturing Eurobonds due in November. Chinese shares have climbed to a decade high as US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping began a high-stakes meeting. It fueled cautious optimism for a potential trade war truce that will help sustain bullish market sentiment. Investors appeared heartened by early signs of cooling tensions between the world's top two economies after recent escalations, while also positioning defensively with a sense of deja vu that the real deal may offer far less to celebrate. The benchmark Shanghai Composite Index reversed early losses, rising as much as 0.2% in morning trading, reaching its highest since 2015, driven by hopes for de-escalation in the US-China trade dispute. $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,452 naira. Botswana 13 pula 87, Kenya 128 shilling 372, and Zambia 21 kwacha 94. The BRICS countries in Brazil, the dollar there will cost you 5 real 35, Russia 79 rubles 55, India 88 rupees 22, China 7 yuan 9, and in South Africa the dollar will cost you 17 rand 13 cents, 75 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. Gold is trading at $3,938 and platinum $1,586 per ounce. Brent crude oil is at $64.55 a barrel. For any business stories you would like to share with us, please send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business in Johannesburg, I'm Tabiso Lohoko.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Conversations are happening, and Channel Africa is at the heart of them. We tell the African story with clarity, pride, and purpose, reaching audiences that matter to your brand. Partner with us and connect your business with listeners across borders in multiple languages and markets. For partnership opportunities, sponsorship, or sales, email us at partnership@channelafrica.co.za. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Fuel your day with fresh African perspective on Channel Africa.
take all my mind, take all the joy now, take me down, take all the love now, tie me away, burn me alive now, break me down right now. Now you wanna lock me away, I'm winning. You wanna add to my pain, I'm shining. Now you won't come for my face. Ideally, we're not the same, no. So why you wanna try me? Yeah, try me. You're out to destroy me, destroy me. You try to challenge me. You try to distract me. If I want the ganja, yeah, you bring the lighter, yeah, roll me a visa, and set me on fire, yeah. So I woke up in the night, broke out of my chains, staying in lane. You don't know my name, you crossed the line, we will never die. This is where you went, ooh child. Now you wanna lock me away, I'm winning. You wanna add to my pain, I'm shining. Now you won't come for my face. I did it, but no, they were not the same, no. So why you wanna try me? Yeah, try me. You're out to destroy me, destroy me. You try to challenge me. You try to distract me. If I want the ganja, you bring the lighter, yeah, roll me in razor, set me on fire. So you want to be me, but you can't. There's a fire in the sky, it's burning, and I'm always gonna keep running, yeah. So why go? Why you wanna take me? Yeah, why go? Why you wanna try me? Yeah, why go? Why you wanna take me? Yeah, why go? Why you wanna try me? Why you wanna try me? Yeah, why you wanna try me, babe? Tell me why you wanna try, yeah. Why you wanna try, yeah. Why you wanna try? Tell me why you wanna try. Why you wanna try?
Hey, beautiful Thames there, Grammy Award winning Nigerian singer. She just started a new initiative that aims to support African women with mentorship, workshops, and strategic opportunities. Wonderful initiative by her. It is a wonderful one that's titled Leading Vibe Initiative. That song that you heard there in the background is Try Me, taking us to 46 minutes past 9 o'clock Central African time. We're speaking about this issue of, imagine if you have a parent who you've always seen as being single, maybe after a loss or a divorce of their partner, and maybe you've lived seeing them in their 40s, living that independent life, and it's like, okay, wonderful. They're just doing great. They're owning the world. And then they turn 55, and then you see some guy coming into the space, and you're like, Mom, what's going on? Would you actually be responding in a positive way, or would you have some reservations around that? What's your take on individuals dating later in their years, maybe post retirement? Do you think it's good for them? I think it's good, I think the older you get, even society has a tendency of not seeing you. The older we get, we become more invisible, right? And I think it's fantastic when you can find yourself around a community of people that are of the same age as you as well, but also find companionship. It doesn't have to always be in the form of romance. And even if it is romance, there's nothing wrong with it. I think that's also fantastic. But even different forms of relations, I think we should still be investing in them in the later years of our lives. What's your take on dating post your retirement, meeting someone new? Do you think it's even possible, or do you think it gets really, really tough? And also, do you think there are also physical constraints around that? Let us know. +2763 406 9126. That's where you can text us or voice note us. Yeah, man, we love hearing from you. Thank you to those who are joining us on those live streams. I never take it for granted. I always love having you there. Clifford Khadija is there. Innocent Candiado, Cecilia, Kadzeya. I see New Celebrity is there. Yusuf Kayisi, Kanizani Makina. So many people coming in and out of that live stream. We really love having you there. So thank you for joining us. Remember, we are live. You can see our guests in our live stream. In fact, we had Frank Adem Adofoli joining us through his live stream from Nigeria. So you can join us and be part of that live stream experience from Joburg in different parts of the continent that we connect into. You can get into that experience indeed. So you can find us by subscribing to our Channel Africa page. It's simply titled Channel Africa. Subscribe, become part of that community because it makes it easier for you, or you can just follow us on Facebook. It's 48 minutes past 9 o'clock Central African time. We'll be speaking grieving in the next hour, grieving in a positive way as part of our Becoming feature. That's coming up. Stay with us right here on Channel Africa.
Ukatili wa kijinsia unaharibu maisha na kutenga jamii. Hutokea nyumbani, shuleni, kazini na mara nyingi kwa ukimya. Lakini hauwezi kuendelea. Ukiona, ongea. Ikiwa unaumia, funguka, kwa sababu kutofanya lolote sio chaguo. Sikiliza vituo vyote 19 vya redio kuanzia Jumatano ya tarehe 23 Julai kwenye mijadala, ushauri, tamthilia, maonyesho ya elimu na mahojiano na wataalamu, manusura, watunga sheria na nchi nzima iliyoathirika na ukatili wa kijinsia kwenye vituo vyako pendwa vya redio. Piga simu 0800 428 ili kuripoti unyanyasaji au kupata msaada. GBV ikomeshwe na wewe. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwenu na shirika la SABC.
Get Channel Africa on DSTV Audio Bouquet. Channel 802.
Darubini ya Afrika na I am Henry Shakif.
Kapela Mutachu tunaelezwa kwamba waziri wa zamani wa polisi Mbekisele ameanza kutoa ushahidi wake mbele ya kamati ya bunge. Pengine namna ambavyo anaelezea na kutoa ushahidi wake, hii ikoje na imekaje? Hali hii ambavyo ilivyo hivi sasa inaleta picha gani kwa raia wa Afrika Kusini?
Hii hali inaleta picha nzuri, kwanza inaonyesha kama usalama wa nchi hauko kwenye njia nzuri. Wakati wale wenyewe wanapewa nafasi ya kufanya ulinzi wa nchi na ulinzi wa raia, wanakwenda kukamatwa na wenyewe kuwa miongoni ya watu wenyewe wanakwenda tena kuziwia wala kuprotect maalifu. Inaleta hali mbaya ndani ya nchi kuhusu usalama kwanza wa nchi peke yake, usalama wa raia.
Darubini ya Afrika kila Jumatatu hadi Ijumaa kuanzia saa 11 kamili hadi saa 12 kamili jioni majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
Hey, we're still raving about the song of Air, just how beautiful it is. We love that guitar riff there at the end. Nomfunda More with one titled Easy Busi, so encouraging us, hey man, when we get blessed, let's not get blessed in a silo, let's get blessed with our community. Love that one. 55 minutes past 9 o'clock Central African time. You are still listening to On The Move right here on Channel Africa. We're going to be speaking about grieving in our second hour of the show. And I'm a person who believes in death positive. There's a thing about being just positive about death. I'm one of those people that I don't think that death is morbid. I don't think it's actually something that we shouldn't be speaking about. I think we should be very open about it. And it's difficult. Just being death positive doesn't mean that you don't go through the grief and you don't go through the difficulty around it, but you kind of know that it's coming from you and it's also going to come for the people around you. And you have to navigate around that as an opportunity and not necessarily as a loss, right? And that's the thing. Every day is an opportunity for us to connect with the people we love. Do we do that enough? That's a question I ask myself every day. I think I don't, because we are fallible and we're just humans like that. But grief is difficult because we're not all death positive. Like, what, Ben, you death positive? What are you talking about? Are you okay with death? Not really. It's difficult, but I know that it's coming, and I know that it's going to happen to me, myself. We were just speaking off air around it, and I was like, you know, I tend to also have a very bad response to death. So being death positive doesn't mean that I respond to death in positive ways all the time. What I do, I kind of become stoic, which means I'll just get the idea of, okay, let's get the duties done. Let's focus on the things that need to be delivered, and then we move on very quickly, right? And that could also mean that maybe I'm evasive around death. As much as I say I'm death positive, maybe that's also another way of being evasive because of maybe my stoic nature of being. And that could be very difficult to actually deal with further triggers, you know? Maybe I remember at some point and then I get a trigger and like, hey, I thought I was over this, you know? And that's the thing. We think we'll get over it, but it just doesn't happen that easily, right? I know some people have a sense of that, you know, grief can actually break them. And that feeling of pain is something that they can't get over. But I wonder if that pain is something that we should get over, because that person that has left us was important to us. That person was significant in how they played a role in our lives, but most importantly, how they shaped us in who we are. So when we think about grief, is it just the negativity that we focus on? Are there ways of being positive around the grief itself? As in, who are you becoming as you accept this loss? But more importantly, as you progress in your own life and trying to live your life to the best of your ability. Funeka Mamela will help us on that one, a grief counselor and an active volunteer at the Compassionate Friends organization. It's a South African peer support organization that offers support for bereaved parents, siblings, and grandparents. So that's what's coming on the show. Yeah, I have to say, as much as I say that I'm positive about death, I think I might also be labeling that as a way of just not dealing with the emotional aspects, right, of what I'm dealing with when it comes to the losses in my life. How do you navigate that? Because we all find reasons how to either plaster the pain, or we always find reasons on how to actually affirm also our pain. Because affirming the pain itself can also be detrimental and can actually cause even more harm for us who aren't able to move beyond the moment of loss. What do you think about that one? Let us know on all our socials. Remember, we've got our on-the-move conversations happening in different parts of our online platforms. Use that handle at Channel Africa 1. You'll find us on X. You'll find us on TikTok. You'll find us on Instagram. And we're also on Thread. So all those platforms are also there. Be part of the family. We've got this entire system on social media that you can stay engaged with us so we can continue to have the conversations with you. We're moving on right now to our second hour of the show. Let's get the latest news. It's 10 o'clock Central African time.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Benjamin. Top stories this hour. Authorities impose a curfew in Dar es Salaam and 4 men have gone on trial in France. With the news at 10 o'clock, I'm Matabala Mahabe. Good morning. The elections results in Tanzania are expected to be announced in 3 days, and President Samia Suluhu Hassan is widely expected to win a second term after 2 top opposition candidates were disqualified from running. The authorities have declared a curfew in the commercial capital Dar es Salaam after a tense election day yesterday, which saw scores injured in clashes with the police. The U.S. Embassy has advised American government personnel to take shelter at their residences. Their internet service has also been disrupted across the country. Roland Ebolo, Amnesty International, Research and Action for Change on Human Rights Issues in Uganda and Tanzania.
And in our report, Amnesty International documents, a lot of violations that have led to a wave of terror ahead of the elections. In fact, we're calling our report unchecked, unopposed, and just wave of terror against Tanzania ahead of 2025 votes. So there was a lot of protest yesterday, and we fear that today we may learn or get to record number of people that were actually killed in the protest, but also see a lot of arraignment in courts. So the protest.
Health experts say South Africa is facing a severe health challenge. This after the global burden of disease forecast a massive 181% surge in dementia prevalence by 2050. This is an almost threefold increase. Experts say an aging population and longer life expectancy are largely driving the situation. Neurologist Dr. Harsha Patel.
Right now, the most common type of dementia is Alzheimer's dementia, which we really can't do much about, besides for trying to improve the mental or rather cognitive reserve that patients have. But in terms of the Department of Health, the second leading cause of dementia is vascular dementia, and this can be addressed by looking at vascular risk factors such as dyslipidemia or high cholesterol, diabetes, hypertension, sedentary lifestyle, and going forward, looking at these different factors can reduce, hopefully, the vascular dementia burden.
Nigeria has passed a new bill imposing fines of up to $8,200 and jail terms of up to 10 years on the traffickers of ivory, Pangolin scales and other wildlife. Conservation groups believe the law could help curb organized crime networks linked to over 30 tons of ivory since 2015 and over half of global Pangolin scale trafficking between 2016 and 2019. The Endangered Species Conservation and Protection Bill updates decades-old laws that allow offenders to spend 3 months to 5 years in jail or pay fines as low as $68 for trafficking. Environmental groups welcome the move, stating it will protect wildlife and align Nigeria with global treaties. Onto this now, the South African Weather Service has forecast a higher than normal rainfall for several parts of the country in the upcoming summer months. Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal and the Free State, as well as the Northwest, are likely to experience a heavier rainfall, which could result in localized flooding in some areas. Forecaster Tugelo Chilwane says this is due to the La Nina phenomenon.
The seasonal forecast, or the latest seasonal forecast, which was released on the 30th of September, does indicate that we're going to be in what you call a weak La Nina season. And La Nina for the eastern and central parts of the country is defined as above normal rainfall with below or normal temperatures. Going forward now, it does have an indication that for Gauteng province, KwaZulu-Natal, Free State, Northwest, and escarpment as well as highfield of Mpumalanga, as well as the western bushveld of Limpopo, has an indication that there will be above normal rainfall.
And 4 men have gone on trial in France after being accused of taking part in what prosecutors believe was a Russian attempt to destabilize the country. The men, who are all from Bulgaria, were allegedly seen spray red paint on over a Jewish memorial in Paris. Here's the BBC's Paul Moss.
When George Filipov and others were arrested for vandalising a Paris memorial last year, he insisted it was just a drunken act of vandalism. But then why did 3 of them immediately flee to Bulgaria? It followed other provocative acts of vandalism, including one where pigs' heads were dumped in front of mosques. Reports suggest the men are all linked to Russia's spy agency, the FSB. France has been a particularly staunch supporter of Ukraine. This trial may uncover whether the Kremlin wants to provoke division in France by way of revenge.
A recap of your top story. Tanzania's elections are set to be announced in 3 days, with President Samia Suluhu Hassan expected to win a second term. For any news stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I am Matapela Mahape.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
All right, we're moving on into the second hour. Thank you so much, Matapelo, for giving us the latest news. Later on, we'll get our sports from Figile Lingwati, and after that, we'll get our business news from Tabiso Lohoko. We're going to be speaking to chapter leader of the Compassionate Friends Johannesburg, Andrea Biezien. We've got a name change there in terms of who we're speaking to in our Becoming. We'll be looking at grief in terms of not just doing it quietly or deeply and in a sense just going through it on your own, but how does it actually go beyond when it's just about just the pain? Can you rewrite it to make it something that makes you a person who, when you reach the other side, you know that you didn't go through that season for no reason, that loss wasn't just something that was an event that had no substance to who you are after you've experienced the grief. And there's no after you have experienced the grief moment, really, because it continues. Because after you've become that person who's lost a friend, who's lost a partner, who's lost a parent, you feel that, life shifts for you in many ways. But is it shifting in a positive sense? We'll speak to our guest on how we can turn grief into something that can really build our characters, but more essentially build us so we are not only stuck in that particular moment. Andrea Biezien will help us with that one, a chapter leader of a Compassionate Friends Johannesburg. Stay with us right here on Channel Africa.
The Morning Switch Weekend with the Shy Guy.
The story that takes us to Zambia. There are 2 men actually that were sentenced to prison for the plot to kill the president with witchcraft. You go like, what? So these guys were arrested actually in Lusaka, and what was found on them was a live chameleon. Can you believe that?
Animal tails and bottles of concoction. That law takes us back to 1914,
which is the Witchcraft Act. I can imagine now arrested and they go to jail for the next 2 years. I presume that when you get to jail, they get to ask you actually, what is it that you committed?
Now this is the first of its kind, by the way, for somebody to be arrested
for such. They in Pemba, whenever they pass,
hey, Chikanga, hey, Uloya, hey, Mulosi.
And imagine here I am in these early hours of the mornings, I get to talk about witchcraft.
Saturday and Sunday mornings belong to the Morning Switch. 3 to 6 a.m. Central African Time. The rhythm of Africa. The pulse of the continent. This is Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Talking like you're ready, can you handle that? Maybe we can settle that. I know you're feeling from my bigger back, oh. All in your face, all in your face. I'm down to do what you really want to. Champagne with a little fun, yeah. Show me what you really want. Nobody do me as good as you. See my recoil, just like magic. Drive me loco, automatic, so electric. Roboto, oh, you give me such an essence, I can hack it. So spiritual, fresh out the package. Oh, I rap like bandage on you. It's only you for me. You for me. You for me. Oh, I'm into you for me. Give it all to me. Can't nobody compare to you. Already you giving me what I wanna. Nobody fit to they can never ever. Caesar, call you my Caesar. I'm still a diva, but I'm a keeper. It's your ability for stability. It's how you keep me held in captivity. Oh, me like it. You know I'm for it. See my recoil, just like magic. Drive me loco, automatic, so electric. Roboto, oh, you give me such an essence, I can hack it. So spiritual, fresh out the package. Oh, I rap like bandage on you. It's only you for me. You for me. You for me. Oh, I'm into
Hey, that's a lovely one. Who does this remind me of? Tammy. There's a bit of a sample there by Tiwa Savage. This one is titled You For Me. Let's take a break. We'll be back.
Africa. It's time to plug into the heartbeat of the continent. Tune in to Channel Africa, your go-to radio station that broadcasts in 5 different languages.
L'Afrique du Sud célèbre la journée nationale du
Kabla hujaitwa kwa jina la Double K or more of our forests have been destroyed.
Partido Africano da Independência da Guiné.
See, Channel Africa represents every corner of this amazing land. From Lagos to Cape Town, Nairobi to Dakar, we've got you covered with the freshest news, music, and cultures. So, turn up the volume, feel the rhythm. And join the conversation. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Moving to a world of African music. This is Channel Africa.
All right, man, we're coming back to the conversation. This wonderful conversation that we need to have that we shy away from is grief. It often changes us in ways we didn't ask for. What we're asking on our X handle at Channel Africa 1, that's the page that you can find using that handle. Do you believe there's strength in allowing yourself to feel deeply rather than rushing to move on? That's the big question we're asking there. We've got 3 options. Yes, absolutely. It's good for you. Second option is sometimes. The third option's not really. We'd like to get your thoughts on our grief conversation in our second hour. Well, we are talking to this because grief can keep us static in our feelings of not progressing with our lives. At times, it can be something that we shove aside and we'll do it later, you know. And then when we get triggered, there's very negative consequences because we didn't monitor our grief and we didn't manage it well. Too often society rushes through the mourning, telling us to be strong, to move on, to stop feeling too deeply. Yet, is it true that true strength lies in doing the opposite, in honoring your emotions and telling your story with your own voice of that pain and that grief? Andrea Berzen is a chapter leader of Compassionate Friends Johannesburg, who joins us to chat on this. Andrea, welcome on the show.
Hi, thank you, Benjamin, and thank you for, welcoming me to come and join on the show.
Yeah, well, thank you for also making time for you to join us on the show. We really appreciate that sacrifice you're making. Andrea, let's talk about grief, because I'm a bit of a stoic in my belief. Stoics are very avoidant and we're like, yeah, I'm death positive.
Yes.
I can overcome this and I can handle these emotions. What's your take in terms of the different ways in which we define griefs? What have you noticed in the environment that you work in and how people define grief?
Okay, so thank you, Benjamin. That's a really very interesting and very comprehensive way of, answering the question. Because with us being here at the Compassionate Friends, we support and assist families who have lost children, grandchildren, or siblings. And that grief in itself is a completely different grief to where somebody would have lost a parent or a spouse.
Mm-hmm.
But we all grieve, everybody, every single person, in whatever way we've lost somebody, whether it is a child or whether it is a spouse or a parent. We grieve differently, and there's no specific time frame of how long we should be grieving for. And we find sometimes with us at our organization, somebody might only approach the Compassionate Friends when they're already 5 years after the loss of their child.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't say to them, well, why didn't you come to us sooner? That's not how we approach things.
Mm-hmm.
The people deal with their grief in the best way that they know how, or they don't even know how to grieve, because it's something that you don't expect to start grieving maybe early in your life. Or even if you've got an amazing relationship with your parent, that parent has been ill for maybe 5-6 years, and then suddenly the parent's no longer there because the parent has passed away.
Mm.
So the grief has got no limitations, no time frames. You might find somebody who we call them they're very practical grievers. They grieve, they've lost, say, their child, and they'll grieve for, say, 6 months, and then they turn around to themselves and they say, okay, I'm okay now. I'm going to move on with my life.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost my child. I've lost my father. I need to move on. That's a practical griever. There's nothing wrong with being a practical griever. But then you'll get somebody who's 10 years down the line into her grief after her 17-year-old son passed away, and she's getting comments from people who are close to her and say to her, come on, whatever her name is, Samantha.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Samantha, you should be over your grief already. That then triggers this so-called Samantha she goes back into that space where she was exactly where she was the day after or the day that her child died. So for people outside the environment where somebody's lost a person, they might mean well. They mean well. But at the end of the day, it's not what the person who's grieving wants or needs to hear. Because that person will just, go into a deep depression again. So you can't put any limitations on how people grieve, the way they grieve, who they want to grieve with, who they want to share their story. So grief is actually a very complicated emotion.
Yeah, I love the fact that you're saying that it's complicated because it manifests itself differently, and how we process it is also different for many of us. But it can be detrimental feeling that pain that kind of cripples you. Some people get really crippled where their lives just stop and, they don't have a way of moving forward, Andrea.
That's exactly, Benjamin. They get stuck in that space of that grief, and they could be 20 years down the line, and they're still in that space. And it could be perhaps the personality and the attitude of that person.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you think about losing a child, it's not in the natural scheme of the way life should work, in the way this life cycle works. So, normally you'd have your birth, and you go through childhood, teenage years, young adulthood, middle age, old age, and then extremely old, and then person passes away. That's a life cycle. But when somebody is the adult is in their own adulthood, say they're in around between 35 and 45, and all of a sudden they've lost their 5-year-old or 12-year-old child, that in itself will change that person completely. So if this person has always, say, battled through their life dealing with problems and negativity, they might find that this death has caused immense challenges to them and immense grief, and they don't know how within themselves to get out of that space. And even if they might be supported by whether it's a very close family members or even a counselor, and a counselor that's particularly knowledgeable in the grief that this particular mom is experiencing,
sure,
but she can remain stuck in that space because it's not something that she would have expected.
Okay,
the child was healthy.
Yeah, Andrea, I want us to unpack how do you then make an intervention there, because I love the fact that people come and approach counselors and those who can help them, because maybe they are seeing that the detrimental consequences of that grief. We're speaking to Andrea Berzen, who is a chapter leader of the Compassionate Friends Johannesburg, and we'll speak more to that one. While we're having the conversation, you can just go over to our X quickly and give us your thoughts on the question that we're asking today. And what we're asking there is, do you believe there's strength in allowing yourself to feel deeply rather than rushing on to move on? Let us know on that X handle at Channel Africa 1 is the handle.
Mix Vibration sur Channel Africa.
Qu'est-ce qui vous a amené à dire ça? Est-ce que vous avez observé un certain nombre d'événements dans la vie? Est-ce que c'était par rapport à une expérience? Est-ce que vous avez rencontré des choses qui vous ont dit il faut de la patience, comme ça les choses vont venir au bon moment et les bons dieux pourra peut-être me visiter?
Oui, c'était justement un conseil que le Seigneur m'a fait inspirer pour donner à son peuple, parce qu'il y a la plupart des gens, pendant que Dieu bénit les autres, ils pensent que Dieu les a oubliés, et pendant que Dieu ouvre pour les autres, ils pensent que peut-être Dieu n'a pas pu écouter leurs prières. Alors, ce n'est pas le cas. Alors, Dieu bénit tout un chacun de nous avec son temps. Donc, le temps de Dieu est toujours le meilleur dans la vie de tout un chacun de nous.
Mix Vibration, tous les dimanches de 18h à 19h, temps universel.
Call us on +27 63 406 9126.
I can see my whole world changing.
And contribute to the conversation.
Hey, grief is difficult because once you think you're over it, it can re-manifest in different ways, and it's either it can be triggered by a situation, maybe a memory, a song. It could be just a moment of silence. It's so unpredictable that you don't know how to navigate it. And today we're trying to find ways to do so with our guest Andrea Berzen, chapter leader of the Compassionate Friends Johannesburg, and we speak speaking about how do you actually take the strength of going through that moment that should be disempowering to a large degree and turning it around into something that can be empowering. Let's talk a little bit about that, Andrea, in terms of how would you intervene when someone has a long-term grief season?
Okay, so that's really a great question, Benjamin, because as we were talking, that when somebody's really stuck into that grief, it's important that the person can see within themselves, oh, I actually need help. And once the person has acknowledged and saying to themselves, listen, I've been in this grief state for a very, very long time. I actually need to get out of it. And the moment that comment is made, even if it's just in the person's mind who's grieving, that in itself is the start of the change of that person moving forward. And so people around need to support the person who's grieving. But once that person realizes, oh, I actually need help, that's when healing starts. And it doesn't matter whether it's after 3 months or after 25 years. And that person then, the best would be then to approach an organization like the Compassionate Friends and say, I need some support. So once the support is then open for acceptance, we then start encouraging the person to do small little changes in their lifestyle. So instead of waking up in the morning and immediately looking at your child's photo and saying, oh, I wish you were still here, you need to say, you look at the child's photo and say, oh, I remember you with your beautiful sparkling blue eyes, or your gorgeous frizzy hair with all those plaits. So that in itself is the start. And we start by suggesting very small little changes to the person's routine. Instead of having your coffee in your living area, go outside. It doesn't matter where you're living. Take your coffee and go outside and look at the beautiful sky around you. Small little changes into your routine will start having another effect in terms of your emotion and your grief. And the most important part of this is the self-care, that a person doesn't go and start helping everybody else. If they within themselves had this long grief and they've started making changes to their lifestyle, to their daily routine, that in itself is a start. So as I'm saying, take a cup of coffee, go look at the sky, take a walk around the block, phone a friend who you haven't heard or you haven't spoken to in a long time, even visit an animal sanctuary, go take a walk. If you've got a beautiful enclosed green space near you, go and take a walk there. Start making little changes. But another very important thing is to reach out to the support organizations that can assist. Because within the support organization, so looking at the Compassionate Friends, we meet once a month on the second Saturday of every month, where we invite and encourage families in their grief, whether they've been grieving for 3 months or 25 years, to come through to our center and meet other people within the same space. Well, we call it a new family. It's a new club that you've joined that you never wanted to join, never thought you would be joining in a million years. But the important thing is to remember is that self-care.
Yeah, I love that. And also, at times when we've lost someone, we forget that there's those that are still with us, that we still need to connect with. I mean, you might have lost a child, as painful as it is. You still have, maybe you have other children that you still have, and they're still your children, they're still alive, right? So making that switch to say, okay, I've lost a child, but I still have to connect with these people that are here. Or I've lost a sibling, but I still have my other siblings here. Is that reconnection with people going to make it easier, or is it unpredictable to say because different family situations don't look the same?
Well, there we go. It is unpredictable, and we wish in a real situation that everybody within that family, whoever they've lost, can come together and understand each other. So that person who's grieving the loss of, say, her child or her brother or sister, but there are other children and there are other siblings. If she's approaching her sibling that she hasn't spoken to in, say, 6 years, it's for the other sibling who's still around to say, oh, look, my sister's reaching out. It's really a very challenging and difficult situation. You know, if you've got a family that are very connected and very supportive, and they see that this one, say it's a sibling who's lost a sibling, is really battling, they need to be able to give that sibling space to grieve. But when it's time when that sibling says, hang on, I'm ready to now connect with everybody, the rest of the siblings need to be able to open up and say, come, we're still here for you. We understand we're all grieving. So as you said earlier, it's unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's unfortunately with our life. It is unpredictable.
Yeah. Andrea, we have to let it go there. A very difficult conversation indeed. But I love the fact that you gave us the realism of it, that it's really something that can't be pinned down in one way, that there are multiple ways to approach it, but also it manifests itself differently. If someone is listening here in Johannesburg or in South Africa, how can they get the help of the Compassionate Friends?
So we are situated in Highlands North in Eastern Johannesburg. We've got, I'll give you our numbers. So our landline is 011 440 6322. Our mobile is 078 147 2705. We then have quite a number of support groups. We've got our second Saturday of every month, our support group in the afternoon. The support group reaches out to everybody, whether they're grieving the loss of the child due to a motor vehicle accident, due to a baby being stillborn, due to somebody who has taken their life by suicide, even to the younger siblings, 17 years and younger. We've got specific support groups. We also, Benjamin, have a new online support group, which is connected to the whole of South Africa. Anyone can connect there. You once again use the numbers and we then send the information out. And also we've got a 24/7 WhatsApp support line that is on that 078 147 2705 number. So we are available out there for people to connect, as well as on Facebook.
Well, we have to leave
TCF
it there.
Johannesburg.
Sure. Thank you so much for giving us your time and helping us on this difficult conversation. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you so much, Benjamin, and to the team at Channel Africa.
That's Andrea Berzen, chapter leader of the Compassionate Friends Johannesburg. Hey, grief is difficult, isn't it? And the ways that it manifests is also different. So we'll continue speaking about this one later. In the meanwhile, chat with us on that live stream at Channel Africa 1 and give us your thoughts there. Let's move on. Fikile Lingwati is waiting patiently for us. Let's get the latest sports.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Let's kick off with rugby news. When South Africa lost to Japan at the Rugby World Cup in Brighton 10 years ago, in the biggest shock the sport has ever witnessed, it was not because the Springboks put out a weakened side. This Saturday, the Springboks play Japan at the Wembley Stadium in London, and they have selected an equally strong and even more accomplished match day 23. Even if Colby at fullback might be unfamiliar to some, it's not that unfamiliar, according to Kate Lee Arendse.
I'm really excited to be back, and I think, like Coach Saras said now, it's not Cheslein's first time playing on fullback. I think against Ireland in 2022 in a Vioto. He was a fullback. But yeah, looking forward to play with him. I think he's one of the best players, and just excited to be on the field again with him.
The Boks opponents this weekend always have a surprise up their sleeves. Park coach Rassie Erasmus, and one for whom there is a bottle of South Africa's finest wine waiting after the match, provided Erasmus gets the win over Jones.
Eddie is a guy that speaks his mind, and I enjoy people who do those kind of things. And he was the one of the guys when I got that ban he picked up the phone and phoned me and supported sort of, and told me in so many words that don't do stupid things, but he understands why and how, and I always have a lot of respect for him, and I think people always try to build up a thing between coaches, but he's one of the coaches I really respect, and we have a bottle of wine, but we only give that when we're winning, so if he wants it, he must let us win.
On to boxing news, South African pugilist Siyakola Guse fell short in his world-title bid, losing on point to WBC strawweight champ Melvin Jerusalem in Manila. But the South African impressed with a fearless performance on the 50th anniversary of the thriller in Manila. Jerusalem edged it 115, 113, 115, 113, and 116, 112. Though many felt Guse's early aggression made it closer than the scorecards showed. Let's end with the motor racing. Swiss racing driver Laura Villas filed legal action against motorsport's governing body to challenge FIA election rules, which she argues prevent her or any other candidate from running against incumbent President Mohammed bin Sulayem. The legal summons requests a Paris court to order the suspension of the FIA presidential election until a ruling is made over the dispute. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, File Lungwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. The Midnight Snack, 12 to 3 a.m.
Our fitness coach, her name is Yvonne Dimakatso Pasha. How to remain consistent with gyms, Dima, and I'm going to put you on the spot right now. As we are talking, I will send you my picture, and I want you to tell me what you think I should work on. Because, when I look at myself, Dima, I think I'm very handsome. I'm so good looking, oh my goodness. Like here at Channel Africa where I work, I think I'm one of the most good looking people ever. Like sometimes when I look at myself in the mirror, I never get used to how good I look. I'm just amazing.
You're okay with the way you're looking. You wish people could and now you want to put me on the spot.
Do I need gym?
Yeah. I mean, if you can just consider eating healthy, cutting down a few foodstuffs such as junk.
The Midnight Snack, every Monday, 12 to 3 a.m. with Chanduko Ligege. Let the good times roll. From the 10th of October, make a note. Channel Africa is stepping into a brand new era with the launch of our upgraded website and app. It's easy, fresh, and always on your fingertips. Wherever you are in the world, Africa's voice is just a click away. The future of Channel Africa goes live from the 10th of October. Don't miss the moments.
All right, let's get our business news. We've got Thabiso Lehoko with us.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Thanks, Benjamin, and good morning. The South African Police Service has urged the public to be patient as it continues with the recruitment drive of 5,000 trainee officers. Thousands of applicants are currently completing the first phase, which is the psychometric and integrity test. In July, SAP has received over 1 million applications, including from more than 300,000 candidates qualified in policing, law, forensic investigation and related fields. SAP's spokesperson Amanda van Wyk says training is set to begin next year.
The SAPS advises all applicants who have applied to remain patient, as recruitment teams will communicate with suitable candidates. Training is expected to commence in 2026, with the exact date to be confirmed in due course.
The National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, NUMSA, is expected to march to National Treasury in Pretoria tomorrow. The union is demanding government to stop conducting business with the private security companies that are reportedly not complying with the collective agreements. NUMSA's spokesperson, Phakamile Hlubi-Majola, says it's a disgrace that workers in the security sector must protest for what is lawfully and rightfully theirs. Hlubi-Majola revealed that security companies are defrauding workers by deducting money for medical insurance and pension fund, but not paying it over to the service provider. She says that they will be handing over a memorandum of demands.
Security companies are defrauding workers by deducting money for medical insurance and pension fund, but not paying it over to the service provider. This means that when workers have to claim for medical insurance or pension fund, there are not enough funds or no funds at all.
Uganda's coffee exports jumped to 59% year-on-year, boosted by a copious crop in parts of the East African nation. In September, Africa's largest coffee exporter shipped 844,949 60-kilogram bags of the beans, compared with 532,212 bags exported in the same period last year. Coffee and gold are Uganda's largest sources of foreign exchange. The Agriculture Ministry projects coffee production will rise 15% in the crop year that started this month. Nigeria's parliament has approved President Bola Tinubu's request to borrow $2.85 billion from international debt markets, including the country's first ever issuance of a sovereign sukuk. Tinubu asked Parliament earlier this month to approve new international borrowing and authorize the issuance of a $500 million debut sovereign sukuk. Tinubu says that the new funds would be used to part finance the budget deficit and refinance maturing Eurobonds due in November. Asian stocks advanced after the Federal Reserve cut interest rates and as US and Chinese lenders met to thresh out a trade deal, while the yen weakened after the Bank of Japan kept rates on hold as expected. MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan was last up 0.4%, while US S&P 500 E-mini futures moved to 0.4% higher after stocks on Wall Street posted a slim loss to snap a 4-day winning streak. $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,452 naira. In Botswana, it's at 13.87, Kenya 128 shillings 372, and Zambia 21 kwacha 94. The BRICS countries in Brazil, the dollar will cost you 5.35. Russia 79 rubles 55. India 88 rupees 22. China 719, and in South Africa the dollar will cost you 17 rand 13 cents. 75 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. Gold is trading at $3,938 and platinum $1,583 per ounce. Brent crude oil is at $64.55 a barrel. For any business stories you would like to share with us, please send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business in Johannesburg, I'm Thabiso Lohoko.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective. The right music all the time. On Channel Africa, the African perspective.
December. I know you still remember. You were the one who let me go. Remember.
Shekinah with one titled Please Mr. Hey, that one takes us to 10:46 Central African time. What do you think about grief? Do you think there are healthy ways to confront it? Yeah, we'd love to hear from you on that one. In fact, we've got an on-the-move poll that's going on our @Channel Africa One handle. We're asking you, do you believe there's strength in allowing yourself to feel deeply rather than rushing to move on there? Yeah, it's a very difficult one. And how to navigate grief in a healthy way, something that I think we need to speak more positively about in our communities, right? And how are we going to deal with it from even a family dynamic? How do we support one another? Family dynamics can also create grief to be even worsened. So if there's no support from that family level, things can feel a little bit later. Hey, man, you know what? Let's let you know that you can even find all the things that we talk about. Maybe you missed that conversation we just had with our guest Andrea Berzen. We usually put our conversations on our website via the format of audio podcast. So go to our website www.channelafrica.co.za and you can quickly find different content that's there as well. We've got updates on what's happening in our news. So everything that you hear on air, the news updates are there on our website in a more elaborate, up-to-date level. So we've got a digital team that makes sure that you get all the things that you need there. So it's very easy for you to find it. Yeah, man. And we're going to be speaking about something very very, very wonderful. Kids can be very active, and when they're still discovering their skills, when they're still discovering who they are, they usually take on different things. When I look back, I can't believe I was a cricket player in primary school. Yeah, I was a great spinner. I used to love bowling. It was one of my favorite things to do on the pitch. But at some time, it was apparent to me that, you know what, I have to just do what I really, really am good at. So I started doing drama, I did public speaking, and that was my space, and that's where I flourished the most. So I let go of the cricket because I just couldn't complement it time-wise. I had to focus on the other stuff. So is it difficult with these young ones that want to do every single thing? Yeah, man, it's very interesting that in these days, parents always find the pleasure from seeing their high-performing children. But what do you do to actually also provide that help while they are high-performing? Because over time, there's that expectation of perfectionism that the kids themselves also put on themselves, and there's intense pressure to actually win and to be first in everything. And there's also heightened sensitivities when it comes to the mental health and pressures that come with that. So we're going to be discussing this one with Ayanda Tekiana, a behavioral science consultant and parent coach, a little bit later on. Remember, stay in touch. Our WhatsApp number +27 63 406 9126. I'll be part of that conversation on grief. How do we overcome it? What's the best way, do you think, to overcome it? Let us know.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine, weekdays 6 till 9.
The South African Medical Association, SAMA, has officially suspended all relations with the Israeli Medical Association, a move welcomed by healthcare workers for Palestine, South Africa. The organization says this decision represents a powerful stand for medical ethics, justice, and human rights, echoing the global call for solidarity with Palestinians.
And recently, we've also seen other national associations, such as the British Medical Association, Turkish. They've released quite strongly worded statements, although none have gone as far as SAMA to cut ties with the Israeli Medical Association, as well as to call for the suspension from the World Medical Association. It's a watershed moment that an organization has actually taken this step. And it's not an idle threat. SAMA is a member of the World Medical Association, and they can action this resolution by bringing it before the World Medical Association.
Dr. Sadiq Mullah, chairperson of Healthcare Workers for Palestine, South Africa.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine. Download the SABC app and take Channel Africa with you everywhere you go.
Impossible. Yo, yalla. Let namane ko banga. Sayar mande atona. Jekal malima ya. Lima gente yem mande. Ya di buria aput dole. Ya sama borong. Ya nyu boleh mo. I'ma heal if you're record. Ya me job. Ya fichi tu ya fi muje. Ya nyu yo rek ya fe. Sayar mande ma ye. I don't touch his let. Sutu hal mo best moment le tonye. Yo rek di bobi. Fete le chingorge. Polek mo mi nevi. Puro janta kwerbe. Yo rek di bobi. Fete le chingorge. Polek mo mi nevi. Puro janta kwerbe. Todo golpe gana. Solo le venena ma. Ma tek teguna fagam nane jamu mul Musirat taxawe bes bu jam ñepp di tiit sama xol bi dina sédé bëggoon naa yow nent bi fonkoon naa ñi ma mag daana bokko li ma am daan yeesal ca waxtu ba donte xam naa ma tuba yero moon naa gone lool donte dama bari tooñ ate ma sa yërmande ndax dama laa réere woon ma fonko waxtu duma nitu leer yàlla bu ma reba deeci bu sirata xawe bes bu jam ñepp di tiit sama xol bi dina seede bëggoon naa yoo nent bee duma nit ku baax dinaa jéem a fonko waxtu duma nitu leer yàlla bu ma reba deeci bu sirata xawe bes bu jam ñepp di tiit sama xol bi dina seede bëggoon naa yoo nent bee Kusante yala yala dolila. Tu mama sada yala je magala. Yai buri buri ya mande falma. Ya urek ya man ya amte ya ham. Ya urek ya dai ya din ya def. Tegina dimwa sita no ma beniyo. Elo malik ma johor. Luma def lima defo. Del nga ma teralor. Ye uma sa ben moro. Def aduna sama xol faté liñ waxante wo. Moy tu lo nga masano man ma def ko andando. Ene tu waxal borom legi mu jégal ma samay to.
Hey, that is Bayamas, who is a Senegalese, joining us with a beautiful song there titled Bird. It takes us to 10:55 Central African Time. You're listening to Channel Africa, getting news, information, entertainment from an African perspective. Hey, we are going to move into our parenting feature, speaking about, those little kids that perform optimally and, they can put pressure on parents because parents want to actually also make sure that the kids do as much as they can to fulfill their goals. We're speaking about high-performing children, particularly those who are gifted and those who have this wonderful gift of just being able to do different things. Some of them can be great on the field, others are great academically, but there are those who can do both at the same time. However, there are huge risks that they could face unique mental health challenges like anxiety, depression, and the big one is perfectionism that we think is a thing of excellence. I think sometimes we equate perfectionism to the thing that, you are excellent at what you do, but it can put pressure on a child to actually not even see their heightened sensitivities and not even to be aware when they're experiencing burnout and to keep going. How do you provide emotional support? How do you promote even healthy eating habits, sleeping, resting for those little ones? We speak about the hidden struggles of high-achieving kids and how best that you as a parent can actually support them. Our friend on the show, Ayanda Tekiana, will be speaking on that one, a behavioral science consultant and parent coach. What's your take on those themes? Remember, you can be with us on our different platforms. Right now, we are also live on our Facebook page. We have this live broadcast that keeps going on and on, so you have no excuse to say, hey, I don't know how to engage with Channel Africa. We are there for you. Angelina Chicheko, Chifu Matewe, Clifford, Kaziche, thank you for joining us there on those live streams. Hey, let's go back to the music and anticipate the second hour conversation. We're looking forward to that one in our parenting corner.
Fuel your day with fresh African perspective on Channel Africa.
Niache, ni pike niache, panisali ni trompaka, anaruzi atena. Niache, ni pike niache, panisali ni landaka, anaruzi atena. Vanessa, nini inakuleta, nini ulisabwaka, nini inakuleta. Vanessa, nini inakuleta, nini ulisabwaka, nini inakuleta. Niache.
Oshininga bambongo, obimi singa yuma, oyoki singa soni, nini lisusu oye koluka. Vanessa we kule ulienda kaingekuwa pilinasa aungerudi kunililia mese kujali I'm so busy with my new wifey mese kotake I'm busy enjoying my life nikaduru kanenda kanarudia nikaduru kanenda kana
Vanessa ni nini inakuleta ni nini ulisabwaka ni nini inakuleta Vanessa ni nini inakuleta ni nini ulisabwaka ni nini inakuleta
Hey, that's P-San, a Congolese musician, composer, and dancer. And that one is Vanessa, that features Enos B. Takes us to 1100 hours Central African time. Our parenting corner is going to be a conversation that we're going to be talking about, those excellent ones that are our kids that do all sorts of things in the field and in the classroom. How do we take care of those high-performing young ones? That's what's coming up now when we conclude our latest bulletin from Tapelo Mahape.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Benjamin. Top stories this hour. Stay at home, say authorities in Tanzania, and Hurricane Melissa raises UN concern. Good morning. Tanzanian authorities have instructed civil servants and students to stay at home today following violent protests during the general elections yesterday. Protests were triggered by the exclusion of President Samia Suluhu Hassan's two biggest challenges from the presidential race and the deepening repression from government critics. The government has instructed all public servants to work from home except those whose job duties require them to be present at their workplaces. Internet services have also been disrupted across the country. Roleld Ebole, Amnesty International Research and Action for Change on Human Rights Issues in Uganda and Tanzania.
And in our report, Amnesty International documents, a lot of violations that have led to a wave of terror ahead of the elections. In fact, we're calling our report unchecked, unopposed, and unjust wave of terror against Tanzania ahead of 2025 votes. So there was a lot of protest yesterday, and we fear that today we may learn or get to record number of people that were actually killed in the protest, but also see a lot of arraignment in court. So the protest.
South Africa's Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development has raised concerns about the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into allegations regarding cooperation from government departments. Minister Mamolo Kokobai has reaffirmed government support for the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. She says it plays a crucial role in advancing accountability and justice for victims of apartheid-era atrocities. She's asked for a postponement of the submission deadline to ensure the commission has all necessary information. Spokesperson to the minister, Terence Manners.
The minister is engaging the commission to address any administrative or procedural delays that may have affected the submission of required information. The request for a postponement of the submission deadline was made in good faith to ensure the Commission has all the information necessary to carry out its work effectively. The Minister says government remains committed to transparency, accountability, and supporting all independent commissions established in terms of the law. The Department of Justice and Constitutional Development will continue to provide the necessary support for the Commission to fulfill its mandate.
And the South African Weather Service has forecast higher than normal rainfall for several parts of the country in the coming summer months. Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, the Free State and the Northwest are likely to experience heavier rainfall, which could result in localized flooding in some areas. Forecaster Tukelo Shilwane says that this is due to the El Niño phenomenon.
The seasonal forecast, or the latest seasonal forecast, which was released on the 30th of September, does indicate that we're going to be in what you call a weak La Nina season. And La Nina for the eastern and central parts of the country is defined as above normal rainfall with below or normal temperatures. Going forward now, it does have an indication that for Gauteng province, KwaZulu-Natal, Free State, Northwest, and escarpment as well as highfield of Mpumalanga, as well as the western bushveld of Limpopo, has an indication that there will be above normal rainfall.
And health experts say South Africa is facing a severe health challenge. This after the global burden of disease forecasts a massive 181% surge in dementia prevalence by 2050. This is an almost threefold increase. Experts say an aging population and longer life expectancy are largely driving the situation. Neurologist Dr. Harsha Patel.
Right now, the most common type of dementia is Alzheimer's dementia, which we really can't do much about, besides for trying to improve the mental or rather cognitive reserve that patients have. But in terms of the Department of Health, the second leading cause of dementia is vascular dementia, and this can be addressed by looking at vascular risk factors such as dyslipidemia or high cholesterol, diabetes, hypertension, sedentary lifestyle, and going forward, looking at these different factors can reduce, hopefully, the vascular dementia burden.
And the UN Security General Antonio Guterres has expressed a grave concern over the widespread devastation Hurricane Melissa has caused in the Caribbean. It has caused damage and flooding across Jamaica and parts of both Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and the Bahamas. Guterres has also expressed solidarity with the government and people of the affected countries. Sherwin Bryce Peace reports.
UN and humanitarian teams are still assessing the damage in Jamaica and other nations affected, but affirm that there had been tremendous and unprecedented devastation of infrastructure, of property, energy and network connectivity. Guterres said the UN was working hand in hand with authorities and humanitarian partners to assess needs and assist those impacted.
A recap of your top story. Tanzanian authorities have instructed civil servants and students to stay at home following violent protests during the general election held yesterday. Protests were triggered by the exclusion of presidential challengers and repression of government critics. Meanwhile, internet services have been disrupted across the country. For any news stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. For Channel African News, I am Matapela Mahape.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Hey, our guest is on the line, and we're going to have a bit of a progressive conversation here. You know, at times when your child is younger, they can try everything. You know, you just say, do ballet, do this, go swimming, go. And then they end up doing all these things and they excel at it. You're like, I didn't know that would happen. And then they're just enjoying all these activities. And as they grow into their schooling career, what do you do when they're excelling in everything? But you can tell, you know what, this is not going to be healthy as time moves. Hey, this is a matric year. We need to balance some things out here. There are high-performing children that actually flourish in doing a diversity of activities. But how do you take care of them and support them in a way that doesn't heighten their anxiety, their also unrealistic depression, unrealistic expectations? We're going to be speaking to Yanda Tekiana, a behavioral science consultant and parent coach on this one. That's coming up in our Parenting and Family Corner.
The rhythm of Africa, the pulse of the continent. This is Channel Africa, the African Perspective.
that's a remix of Omalay's So. There is done by Kabuka Oriental Choir. We love that version as well. It's 10 minutes past 11 o'clock Central African time. Stay right here on Channel Africa.
Africa at Play with Neto, N-E-T-O, Chemane.
I've witnessed something fresh, something exciting, and something very inspirational from the president of the country, William Ruto. Whenever athletes are performing to their best level, he always comes on board to reward those athletes, be it football, be it athletics, and not leaving it up to the sport ministry.
The president realizes that sports is a business, and for that reason, he also reduces the number of people who are jobless, because sports now is such a serious business, and for that reason, commercialization of sports is a major way of improving or increasing employment opportunities for the young people, and that is why the president has been very persistent in trying as much as possible to inspire more sports personalities to reduce the baggage of the people who are struggling to get job opportunities in the country among the young people.
Francis F.M. Motegi, our correspondent from East Africa in Nairobi, Kenya.
Live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. Africa's very own think tank. This is Channel Africa Online. www.channelafrica.co.za.
Hey, we're moving into our parenting corner. High-performing children, particularly those who are gifted with different abilities, face unique challenges, and not just the pressure of the expectation of being good at what they do, but also maintaining a good academic reputation on top of that. These children can experience burnout, stress, social difficulties, and even physical health issues like lack of sleep or even other factors. Providing emotional support and making sure that they maintain healthy habits like exercise and sleep encourages a less rigid approach to goals. And then over time, do you think you should, as a parent, create some boundaries on what they can do, what they can't do? Ayanda Tekian is joining us on this one, a behavioral science consultant and parent coach. Welcome back, Ayanda. We always love having you here.
Hi, Benjamin, and hi to the listeners.
Hey, you know what? Usually these kids who are high performing, you usually just putting them in the test. You are just winging it yourself as a parent. Like, just go, do it all, man. You'll be good at whatever. We'll figure out which one you're good at. And then you figure out a little bit later on that they're actually good at all these things.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you think about the concept of elasticity in terms of our brains, right? We are really gifted in that our brains, the way they work in terms of the synapses and ability to just connect. And what usually happens is the earlier you get exposed to something, the more likely you are going to be very good at it. So if we look at a lot of these children, they have great opportunities for themselves where they just get to practice all of that. And sometimes you'll even see someone who may not necessarily be an expert or who starts something very late in their life, but they absolutely become really great at it. And that just speaks to how amazing our brains are and our ability to adapt. But what's really important, and this is the part that we as parents play a vital role, is the mindset and the psyche that our children have as they're trying out different things, so that whether they try something out and they're not necessarily great at it, or they do try something and they're absolutely amazing at it, that we are very intentional about the messaging that we're sending to them. So now imagine, Benjamin, you have a child who has been absolutely great at everything, let's say in primary school, and then they get to high school and it seems a little bit tougher, and they have to put in a little more work and effort than they've actually had to. If you've not really been intentional about setting this foundation around things like effort, around things like the growth mindset, then you're going to have a challenge there. Because once the child finds that they're struggling to do anything, maybe something new, then the child is now going to start having self-esteem issues. They're going to start wondering if, wait a minute, was it luck that I was doing that so amazingly before? And then now you get this very important element, this foundation, where if our sense of worth and our sense of I can do anything, you know, especially from that young age, is proper in terms of that's the foundation, our children can fly really.
I like the positive way in which you see this, because the more things that they do, they're able to adapt to it. But then it can become a pressure as time goes, because the academic expectations change year after year, especially in the senior years of your schooling. As a parent, is it your responsibility to pick out what they should be doing as their schooling career continues?
So I always say when it comes to that one, it differs. I think the reality on the ground is, as parents, when we have different financial resources, we may be more open-minded to allowing our children to explore their hobbies and stuff like that. And some of us, we are not willing to.
Hey, Dura, it's too much. The pocket. Yo.
Can you imagine if you spent like a close $500,000 on your child's schooling and then they want to be an artist? You know what?
Don't be a journalist, please, my son. Don't be a journalist.
You know, that's the reality of the situations where, depending on where you're coming from and your own financial resources that you have, you may be a little bit more stricter. You know, one of the things I negotiate with my kids is to say, have a profession first, and then you can explore your hobbies. Because I always look at my situation, and I'm a single mom, and I really don't want to take care of my kids for the rest of my life. I'd really like them to get to a point
it's too
where
late
I can.
now. Forget.
So you just have to navigate those issues, and then depending on the resources that you have, you will be a little bit more open-minded to say, try whatever you want, do whatever makes you happy. And that's usually very individual to the different parents and the circumstances they come from.
Mm-hmm. And you know, when you're making those choices, how do you make them? Because do you speak to the teachers? Do you speak to your child? Because at times we make decisions for the kids, like, I actually like my kid playing piano. I'm not so interested in this public speaking that they like.
Yeah, sure. So that one's a bit of a tough one. I think we have to navigate their skills, their strengths. I usually say to my parents, I'm more interested in us looking at our children's weaknesses and looking at ways to support those. So let's say, for instance, your child has anxiety issues and gets nervous. You know, then you want to expose them as much as you can to opportunities around public speaking. A lot of these skills that they learn in their young years are transferable. So once they get a hang of, let's make an example, collaboration, they're great with team, they're great at communication. As they grow older, you will see it manifest in how they communicate with their peers. You will see it manifest how they communicate with their educators. And then it carries on and on into their work life, into their relationships. So we do, especially if you have the resources, one, expose children as much as possible to as much that's out there, so that we can start fine-tuning their own skills. And also, there's a competition that competitive advantage that they have as a result of being exposed to those different things.
Okay, we find that very interesting, right, in terms of, you know, navigating that. But I'm asking this question deliberately. Do you consult your child when making these decisions, what they continue to do as they excel in them?
I'm guilty, not really, sort of.
I'm like, no, she's just ignoring this little one, and she's still like insisting that it's the parent's choice.
Look, I do offer support, and I allow them to try their extracurricular. Like, as I said, you know, every parent will have a unique situation, and I acknowledge my unique situation in that I'm a single parent. So, you know, my son is amazing at art. He draws the most amazing anime, and I have invested in his animation and most of his life. But equally important, I've also invested in him every holiday doing coding and stuff like that. So I'm being aware of what he's good at, and I'm supporting him in that regard. But I'm also being aware of the reality of, I need him to be employable in the future. So as parents, we're going to navigate those. And and you can have the conversations. You can look around in your community if you have mentors, for instance, who can mentor your child in the different interests that they have. And you can even talk about opportunities. You know, the reality, Benjamin, is that the careers that are opening up today are not like the opportunities we have. I mean, you'll have a child who's an influencer who's making a fortune, some kind of money we haven't really seen.
Yeah.
So as kind of have to balance that and navigate that and really think about our kids' futures. And I think what's really important is to think about their self-esteem. If we say no to everything, we may be costing them in that regard. So try to balance that out and consider your individual circumstance.
Okay, let's take a break. This is so fascinating. We'll come back to you and after the break.
Zilipendwa na Abedi Jean de la Croix.
Leo tujadili kuhusu chipukizi wanaoimba nyimbo za wasanii wengine. Unadhani hili linatokana na nini, Omari?
Nadhani kweli kwamba tukizama muziki ya sasa, hasa wasanii ambao ni chipukizi, kwa kweli kwamba yani karibu kutoka muziki wao wenyewe, lakini wanakuwa wanapenda kuhubiria muziki ya zamani na muziki ya wengine ambao ni taimbo.
Wengine wanadai kufanya hivyo ni kupromote vipaji vyao haraka ili waweze kujulikana. Je, yawezekana kukawa na ukweli wowote au ndio kukosa kabisa kipaji cha kuandika mistari?
Ndio, unaona kwamba msanii anapoazimia kwamba kuchukua wimbo mwingine wa msanii mwingine na kurudia yani mara mbili sivyo, haionyeshi kwamba yani ndio wanaanza kazi ya muziki aidha, lakini ukiangalia kabisa asilimia kubwa utakuja kuona kwamba wanakosa ile mawazo ya kutunga muziki.
Zilipendwa kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 12 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati hadi saa 1 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
Channel Africa and you have got something in common. The thirst for knowledge.
All right, so welcome back, and we continue the conversation with Ayanda Tekiana, a behavioral science consultant and parent coach. In our parenting and family corner, we're speaking about high-performing children. How do you manage that situation? And Ayanda has been giving us some wonderful tips. Ayanda, as high performance is kind of a leverage of seeing something that is satisfying in your child. At times we're like, yeah, my child is good at everything that they do at school. I always listen to these parents. They swim, great swimmer. And also after swimming, I take them to ballet very quickly. And then I know that the next day they'll be ready for the hockey. So my child is so versatile. They can do all things, right? It sounds fantastic, like a superhero child. But is that always good?
So my kids actually go to a very competitive school, and I see a lot of this. And if your child does not show signs of being fatigued and they're actually enjoying it, and usually maybe that happens when you as a parent are very intentional about choosing things that your child actually enjoys. So this is that balancing act I was talking about. So if you can get the balancing act proper in a way that your child is doing more of the things that they enjoy and they love, then it's very easy for your child to actually excel in these things and do the best they can. But it's equally important though as parents that we are always looking at our kids and just monitoring their ability in terms of just their fatigue. I'm very concerned when us as parents are using our children's achievement as little badges to say, I'm a great parent and whatnot, because then we push our children so much into this competitive nature. And then what you find in the long run, and I read some research that was done about that, is that when they usually get to your university and you as a parent are not necessarily a decision maker, that's when they tend to withdraw because they're tired, they've been doing so much of these, or they completely do the complete opposite things and indulge in other activities that are very negative. So the word that's really important that we use in psychology is intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. So when your child is doing whatever activities, ensure that you're choosing activities that fill them. So if your child is an extrovert, for instance, and they enjoy being with other people, they enjoy team sports, and then you want to put them in situations where they're playing your netballs, they're playing your softballs. And then if your child is probably a little bit of an introvert and they want to be in their own little circle, then you want to navigate things that are extracurricular that are more geared to their personality, because in that way they will strive in their little corners, and they're like maybe into your esports. This is the future right now. Some of the things that are really becoming a big deal in the schools. Or maybe you can look at like activities that are more your individual sports. So your tennis, your swimming, things that just require this child to really work alone. So it's important for us as parents to always be looking at those and almost like making notes. And I know it's a little hard because these things were not necessarily done for us. You don't even know what you're looking for. But by being a responsive parent, always listening to what your child is saying, when they're starting to say, listen, I'm tired, I'm not excited about this, you want to start asking questions. Okay, so why are you not excited about this particular sport? You never want to be in a position where you now have to drag them to their extracurricular. Then you need to know that there's something wrong.
Yeah. I'm also curious at what do you do when they start moving into that matric point where things are now starting to get serious and you're like, you don't have enough time in a day to do everything?
So firstly, what's really important about this is that to understand that, and I'm trying to do a whole lot of awareness with my parents from a very early on stage, Benji, to say, you know, if we can start having practice, let's say from your grade 5, to understand that with these different grades, it's not about exam time and then there's a panic. So from the first day of the semester, we need to have this mindset that's already around preparing for school, understanding the system in terms of what's the syllabus, what's the next test that's coming up, what are the things that I'm struggling with? Let's say, for instance, multiplication already. How do I make extra time to practice those things? If my struggles in terms of language is grammar, how do I start practicing those things? And then you're going to find that as we are geared towards any exam time, the pressure is not as much. And this applies also in terms of the simple grade, the grade of matric. So we need to kind of like actively have this kind of working towards this. And sometimes what you can do is actually work with your educators at your school to start from when the year is starting out and say, okay, what should we focus on over the next 6, 8, 10 weeks? What kind of practices should we have at home? Look at your child's homework. When they are struggling, maybe they're getting the wrong consistently in terms of multiplication, then you need to start doing some extra learning with them and give them that support. What usually makes learning very easy is to be able to move from one grade to another and not have a backlog of things that you don't understand. So when you can get that right, I promise you, matric will not be such a panic. The reason why it's usually such a panic is that you didn't even understand the first level of trigonometry in the first place.
Yeah.
And now you're at level 5 of trying to understand it, and you're completely clueless. You don't even know what you don't necessarily understand. So I'm putting parents to task to take active responsibility when it comes to their children's schoolwork.
Mm-hmm. And then that mental health support, do you think it's needed when you do have a high-performing child?
Oh, absolutely. And I think the best way to do this, and I know it's very unconventional, right, Benji, is to start being the parent who's very intentional about having the emotional vocabulary. Remember, when your child is going through a hard time, they are going to need a vocab to tell you that they're going through a hard time. And how do they know that they're going through a hard time? By watching you have the conversations, by watching you tackle your own challenges in life. I'm not saying we must overburden our children and tell them everything. My boss, this, my that, my whole life is falling apart. No, I'm just saying, like, in terms of some of the challenges that we're having, when you're having a day that's really frustrating, when you are really anxious and you're looking forward to doing this presentation, you're looking forward to hearing what your boss has to say about it. And maybe when we are disappointed and saying, my boss didn't really like that, and I really put a whole lot of work in that, and I'm feeling a little bit disappointed. And then this is what's really important, reframing it to say, you know what, next time I have something to do, I'm going to take all of the comments that my boss has given me and I'm going to positively try to prepare in time. So when we are going through these little challenges in our own lives as parents, we model to our children how we are tackling everyday situations. Then we are giving our children the tools to be able to get through life much, much more easier.
Yeah, I love that. Ayanda, I always love having you on the show. You always give us practical ways to deal with this stuff. Where do we get hold of you online?
So on Instagram, I am Aya, the parent coach. And then on Facebook, I'm Ayanda Tejana. And I have the most amazing articles that you'll find if you go look for me on LinkedIn around parenting. You know, I just wanted to just add this, like, think of your child as a gardener and their brain as the garden. As they're trying and they're putting effort into a whole lot of different things, it's like little seeds that they're planting. We should never focus on a flower that's blossoming. We need to say, as we are getting to something, what does it look like? And the language and the psyche that we're saying to our children is so, so important.
Well, that's a wonderful wrap up there. Thank you so much, Ayanda. That's Ayanda Tekiana, behavioral science consultant and parent coach. That conversation takes us to our sports. If you want to give us your thoughts on that, raising a high-performing child, at times they can be stubborn. They don't want to let go of these activities, or they think their way is the way. Mom, Dad, you can't tell me what I need to do. How do you navigate those moments? +2763 406 9126. Let's get our final morning sports update. Feeling what he's wrapping things up.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
In this hour, we begin with football news. Uganda national football team, also known as the Cranes, head into the Total Energies CAF Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2025, drawn in a challenging group alongside Nigeria, Tunisia, and regional rivals Tanzania. The Cranes have qualified for the tournament just 8 times in their history, and their most memorable run came in 1978 when they reached the final. Under Paul Put's leadership, Uganda aimed to combine discipline, tactical balance, and mental resolve to make a mark in North Africa. Ahead of the December departure for Africa's flagship football competition, the coach laid out his preparation plan, opponent assessments, internal goals, and how he views the weight of expectation on the squad. Put says they've played 2 World Cup qualifiers in October and have also used it also as preparation, and this will be followed by 2 friendlies in November. When South Africa lost to Japan at the Rugby World Cup in Brighton 10 years ago, in the biggest shock the sport has ever witnessed, it was not because the Springbok put out a weakened side. This Saturday, the Springbok play Japan at the Wembley Stadium in London, and they have also selected an equally strong and even more accomplished match day 23. Coach Rassie Erasmus is not taking any chances against Eddie Jones coaching Japan, even if double World Cup winner Cheslin Kolbe is starting at fullback. Even if Kolbe at fullback might be unfamiliar to some, it's not that unfamiliar, according to Arendse. That's Kate Lee Arendse.
I'm really excited to be back, and I think, like Coach Saras said now, it's not Cheslin's first time playing on fullback. I think we played against Ireland in 2022 in a VO tour. He was the fullback. But yeah, looking forward to play with him. I think he's one of the best players, and it's just excited to be on the field again with him.
The architect of Japan's exploits is Eddie Jones, a much-respected peer of Bok coach Rassie Erasmus, and one for whom there is a bottle of South Africa's finest wine waiting after the match, provided Erasmus gets the win over Jones.
Eddie is a guy that speaks his mind, and I enjoy people who do those kind of things. And he was the one of the guys when I got that band he picked up the phone and phoned me and supported sort of, and told me in so many words that don't do stupid things, but he understands why and how, and I always have a lot of respect for him, and I think people always try to build up a thing between coaches, but he's one of the coaches I really respect, and we have a bottle of wine, but we only give that when we're winning, so if he wants it, he must let us win.
On to Olympic news. The Indonesian Olympic Committee, NOC Indonesia, has taken an important diplomatic step by holding an official meeting with the International Olympic Committee, IOC, at its headquarters in Lausanne, Switzerland. The meeting addressed the IOC's recommendations related to the visa issue involving Israeli athletes ahead of the 53rd Artistic Gymnastics World Championships Jakarta 2025. Led by NOC Indonesia President Raja Sabta Oktohari, the delegation presented a clear and diplomatic explanation of Indonesia's situation, covering government policy, social context, and security guarantees for all participants. The discussion was well received by IOC, resulting in a positive breakthrough that reopened communication and cooperation between both sides. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Figile Lungwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Siyabangena manje. Vito iJabulani Nkolele iMagoda. Jabulani is a young man from Giyani in Limpopo in South Africa. Very easy guy, taking things easy. To know me is to know that I love what I do, which I'm crazy about it. So when you hear me on radio, expect the best. Expect great music. Expect great content. Expect 180 minutes of nothing but fun. You'll find me on the morning reset, 3 to 6 a.m., Monday to Friday. Siyabangena baba. Ay. Mbuleke.
All right, thanks so much, Figile. We appreciate you, mate. And then we're moving on now to our business news. Tabiso, what do you have for us?
Business news on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Thanks, Benjamin, and good morning. The outbreak of foot and mouth disease, which is now in its fourth year in South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal province, can cost meat producers thousands of US dollars. That's according to the chairperson of the Red Meat Producers Association in KwaZulu-Natal, Angus Williamson. In recent months, the outbreak has spread outside the initial disease management area. The outbreak has also affected commercial feedlots and dairy farmers. Farmers are concerned that the outbreak will cripple meat production. Attending a meeting with the agriculture member of the Executive Council, Tembeni Kamarlopamtetwa, in Durban, Williamson says he's concerned at the movement of livestock.
I think the biggest problem with regards to foot and mouth in KZN is access to market within the FMD. There are producers that are still unable to market their livestock. That's within the DMA and the Newcastle Dundee area, extending all the way up to Shutuwi. It's limited access to market.
The South African Police Service has urged the public to be patient as it continues with the recruitment of 5,500 trainee officers. Thousands of applicants are currently completing the first phase, which is the psychometric and integrity test. In July, SAPS received over 1 million applications, including from more than 300,000 candidates qualified in policing, law, forensic investigation and related fields. SAPS spokesperson Amanda van Wyk says training is set to begin next year.
The SAPS advises all applicants who have applied to remain patient, as recruitment teams will communicate with suitable candidates. Training is expected to commence in 2026, with the exact date to be confirmed in due course.
The National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, NUMSA, is expected to march to National Treasury in Pretoria tomorrow. The union is demanding government to stop conducting business with the private security companies that are reportedly not complying with collective agreements. NUMSA's spokesperson, Phakamile Hlubi-Majola, says it's a disgrace that workers in the security sector must protest for what is lawfully and rightfully theirs. Hlubi-Majola revealed that security companies are defrauding workers by deducting money for medical insurance and pension fund, but not paying it over to the service provider. She says that they will be handing over a memorandum of demands.
Security companies are defrauding workers by deducting money for medical insurance and pension fund, but not paying it over to the service provider. This means that when workers have to claim for medical insurance or pension fund, there are not enough funds or no funds at all.
Uganda's coffee exports jumped to 59% year-on-year, boosted by a copious crop in parts of the East African nation. In September, Africa's largest coffee exporter shipped 844,949 60 kilograms bags of the beans, compared with 532,212 bags exported in the same period last year. Coffee and gold are Uganda's largest sources of foreign exchange. The Agriculture Ministry projects coffee production will rise 15% in the crop year that started this month. President Trump has described his meeting with China's President Xi Jinping as amazing. He said they made a series of outstanding decisions to avert a spiraling trade war. The BBC's Laura Becker reports.
The US president made it clear that certain issues were not discussed, including China's repeated military incursions around the self-governing island of Taiwan. But he confirmed that the agenda did include the sale of advanced computer chips to Beijing, which some analysts fear is a security risk.
$1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,452 naira. In Botswana, it's at 13.87. In Kenya, 128 shilling, 372. In Zambia, 21 kwacha 94. The BRICS countries in Brazil, the dollar there will cost you 5.35. Russia, 79 rubles 55. India, 88 rupees 22. China, 7 yuan 9. And in South Africa, the dollar will cost you 17 rand 13 cents. 75 pence British pound, 85 to the euro. Gold is trading at $3,938 and platinum $1,586 per ounce. Brent crude oil is at $64.55 a barrel. For any business stories you would like to share with us, please send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business in Johannesburg, I'm Tabisolo Huku.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Got something to say? Are you passionate about issues that matter? Do you have a voice that deserves to be heard? Well, we've got the perfect platform for you. Call in or drop us a WhatsApp on +27 63 406 9126. And we will call you back so you could have your say and be part of the conversation.
30 years of age, I just turned 30 on the 15th of November. So that's who I am, you know.
It's not just talk, it's your chance to air your views. Share your opinion. Engage with the community that values your perspective. Follow us on our social media. Visit our website at www.channelafrica.co.za and get ready to share your views on Channel Africa, the African perspective. Music that talks to your soul on Channel Africa. Hashtag on the move and connect with us.
Yeah, jiggy jiggy, heavy heavy. All the girls love me, oh like money. Call me jiggy jiggy, heavy heavy. All eyes on me. Machiavelli, girl you got me spitting, yeah. Doing 240 on Lecky Ekpe. With the top down, no do gra. You be drinking and the dirty money stinking. Girl you got me spitting, yeah. Doing 240 on Lecky Ekpe. With the top down, all the shit, bio. Hey, da, no do, gra, no do. You know they call me Fella in Versace. Fella in Versace. Fella in Versace, yeah. Fella in Versace. Fella in Versace. Fella in Versace, yeah.
Big shot, superstar. Punisher, finisher, all again, bodyguard.
You want more like Oliver.
Big shot, superstar, Punisher, finisher.
Like two Baba, ready set, don't bruise my heart, delicate.
I saw you standing there. Is the flashing lights gonna make me lose my way? This a baby, yeah. Benny's in the 18 every year. All my G's in the every year. I'm number one in the million. Yeah, like a fish and chips. From the north to the southwest and east, South Africa. Yeah, tada. She gon' blow my cheeks. Fella in Versace. Mandela in a Rari. Rubber bands, where you get them from? Motherland, M-Sons.
Yeah, jiggy jiggy, heavy. All the girls love me, oh like money. Call me jiggy jiggy, heavy. All eyes on me. Machiavelli, girl you got me spitting, yeah. Doing 240 on Lecky Ekpe. With the top down, no do gra. You be drinking and the dirty money stinking. Girl, you got me spitting, yeah, yeah. Doing 240 on Lecky Ekbe. With it top down, all the shape, yo. Hey, da, no do, gra, no do. You know they call me Fella in Versace. Fella in Versace. Fella in Versace, yeah. Fella in Versace. Fella in Versace. Fella in Versace, yeah.
Ooh, Nana, don't stress. I'm just looking out for your breasties. Me and this squad been besties. Tell me which blood clot boy won't test me, cause I came a long way. Now I'm flexing. I can tell you watch fake like wrestling. I'm a smooth criminal. Took her to the mall, up a ball like Lionel. Sexy, she call me Olga. FC Barcelona. Timepiece like pneumonia. Sweet melanin, Coca-Cola. Big shot, superstar. Punisher, finisher. Call again, bodyguard.
You want more like Bolivar.
Big shot, superstar. Punisher, finisher. Like two Baba. Ready, set, don't bruise my heart. Delicate. Fella in Versace. Mandela in a Rari. Rubber bands, where you get them from? Motherland, M-Zans.
Jiggy, heavy. All the girls love me, oh, like money. Call me jiggy, heavy. All eyes on me. Machiavelli, girl, you got me spitting, yeah. Doing 240 on Lecky Ekbe. With it top down, no do, gra. You be drinking and the dirty money stinking. Girl, you got me spitting, yeah. Doing 240 on Lecky Ekbe. With it top down, all the shape, yo. Hey, da, no do, gra, no do. You know they call me Fella in Versace. Fella in Versace. Fella in Versace, yeah. Fella in Versace. Fella in Versace. Fella in Versace, yeah.
Benjamin Moshatama and Palisatawo on the move.
Military touch.
David on Jeffrey. Don't leave me, don't let me go. When I was a dog, couldn't it harm me. You don't leave me, don't let me go. I love you, wholeheartedly, I do. I love you with my heart and soul. If you really want me to live, don't leave me. When I was a dog, couldn't it harm me. Don't leave me. Waste my lady, in the body. My lily, in the body, and I was your dog, couldn't it around me, don't leave me, no let me go. And I was your dog, couldn't it around me, don't leave me, never ever let this go. I love you, wholeheartedly, I love you with my heart and soul. Believe you me, baby, I don't tell no lie. I love the way you look at me, baby, and you call me daddy. You shine like a light from the sun, girl. Drown it, I will, baby. Can I win any? You shine like a light from the sun, girl. Let me love you, let me give you my hope, because you shine like a light from the sun, girl. Pauno famba, pauno figa, tell you you shine like a light from the sun, girl. I love the way you look at me, baby, when you call me daddy. You look like my wife from the sun, girl. Chauno ita iwe, baby, and I win any wherever you are, girl. I want go. Ruvarangu, daddy wangu, Ruvarangu, daddy wangu.
Hey, Okay, Zimbabwe and Nigeria, they're collaborating. Ja Praise hang out with Davido with one titled My Lily. And before that, you heard South Africa's AKA with Fela and Versace. It's 11:50 Central African Time.
Let the good times roll. From the 10th of October, make a note. Channel Africa is stepping into a brand new era with the launch of our upgraded website and app. It's easy, fresh, and always on your fingertips. Wherever you are in the world, Africa's voice is just a click away. The future of Channel Africa goes live from the 10th of October. Don't miss the moments. Balisa and Benjamin fuel your day with fresh African perspective on Channel Africa.
Asidlele mali sosebenzenye imali. Asidlele mali sosebenzenye futhi. Bisuka nemali eni oletha mikumbe khanda lami lidume ngisafuna ukudla inyama. Eni engikhohlwa amadumbe imeni obangibuze bisuka nemali eni oletha mikumbe khanda lami lidume ngisafuna ukudla inyama. Eni engikhohlwa amadumbe imeni obangibuze
sidlele ma big zul nenkani womsabu ngamazi somatekiso nemali khohlwa nje mfana ungayiqali noma ngakuthuka ungamnaki phethe loshunwe inkavu vele uxolisa ungaxwali ngene hostela ngestroke 6 sikuphiko ngipipisi hlanye ingane bayimisi khipha isandla baskisi badlula uphume 16 shu uyasichaza wehlile bheka umswenko ngipakishile kushiya intombi isikikisi fika sengihamba namabhinci thatha intombi yomfana ngamgili khala ngeselfu ngayinika kuza wabo basayamphika yamnikeza ifoni yashaya iphitha bebe unehaba mani hayiqini beka ubreni udala uyabizi yangena emotweni intombi yamshiya
bisuka nemali eni oletha mikumbe khanda lami lidume ngisafuna ukudla inyama. Eni engikhohlwa amadumbe imeni obangibuze bisuka nemali eni oletha mikumbe khanda lami lidume ngisafuna ukudla inyama. Eni engikhohlwa amadumbe imeni obangibuze.
Okay, let's do like this. I need money trees and summer breeze. Lot of cheese, Louis V's and double G's. Overseas with Tulip P's and Auntie B's. Black cars with credit limits that's guaranteed. Gone, and in. I thank the Lord all my brothers is all in. Let's throw a party, my brothers, it's all on me. Follow me, it's all on me. Cause Ferraris and Lambos is all I see. Combination just landed from Italy. Cottonitas and bingers and VIP. It's all on me, it's all on me.
Bisuka nemali eni oletha mikumbe khanda lami lidume ngisafuna ukudla inyama. Eni engikhohlwa amadumbe imeni obangibuze bisuka nemali eni oletha mikumbe khanda lami lidume ngisafuna ukudla inyama. Eni engikhohlwa amadumbe imeni obangibuze
bisuka nemali engitakwe ngalala umfazi ngamnaki mayefoni ngayibamba ngengambe ngazazi ngispende ngasabi khiphe change nje ungayixanga ngibrush inkomo ngashu suspend amadola asithandani siyadola ungateta zezoyimosha funa imali zoyithola sufaka inziphi yazibona sidla imali yabhora phatha intombi zomdola zingidlala njengebhola siyahamba sobuya kusasa sayibamba kuyophuma ilanga inkabi siphethe isaka loshuni usuxaka umhlaba ihlanya mayiphethe isamba asithuka sithanda inhlamba zingelisa siphethe intaba awutito mboweni shasha inkabi bakhanda ngekhavela kade limnyama lisehostel khipha le mali uliqonqela sebenza enye bizibhodlela spend ungasabi zosondela shaye kancane zikhobozela kula ngemali dokotela usaba nentombi bamba ikhandlela
bisuka nemali eni oletha mikumbe khanda lami lidume ngisafuna ukudla inyama.
Any Enkohla madumbe imeni obangibuze.
Step into the heart of the day on the move with Palisa and Benjamin.
All right, man, we are about to get out of here. That is beautiful music by Faceless with one titled Venus. And we're about to get out of here, but Lulu is here with us. Hey, Lulu, what do you have for us on the Africa update?
Hi, you know, it's Thursday. Yeah, but it's just Thursday, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those days, but
One
it is a
day
happy
away.
Thursday.
One day away.
One more sleep.
Yeah,
It's Friday.
Yeah, we're almost there.
But it doesn't mean that it stops.
It
when
doesn't
it's Friday.
stop,
Yeah.
not at
All right.
all.
So a lot coming up on Africa Update today. We're going to be speaking to Advocate Sipho Mantula. He is with the Thabo Mbeki School. And he will be joining us live in studio and just chatting about a number of issues, Tanzania being one of them, just to unpack exactly what is unfolding there. And as analysts, you know, what he believes this means for the African continent, because it's not only Tanzania, there's also Cameroon, there's Ivory Coast. Cameroon with a 93-year-old president. Incumbent President Paul Biya. Yeah. And there's a lot to unpack on that front and what it means. Who is the driving force but behind
There's a lot of
President?
gatekeeping in
Yes,
politics. Yeah.
Exactly. There's a lot of gatekeeping, a lot of red tape. So we'll be unpacking that. And also from Tanzania, hopefully we will be able to make connection to Tanzania. We're going to be speaking to Roland Ibole from Amnesty International Tanzania. And just to speak about demonstrations, protest action that broke out between demonstrators and police, and to find out exactly how that is unfolding and whether peace will prevail in Tanzania, whether people are happy. We saw the Chama cha Mapinduzi, I beg your pardon, the opposition leader, Sulu, who is it Sulu? Okay, I could be mixing the names up, but he's behind bars, and he has been behind bars during the whole election process. And he's coming out and saying that, you know, he wasn't part of the election process, so they're yet to see what happens now. So a lot happening on that front when it comes to Tanzania, and hopefully we'll be able to unpack that. And then South Africa wraps up Transport Month. We're going to be speaking to Pumudzo Mukwati from the African Unite Borders Trucks Association. I beg your pardon. Speeding a major problem on the I mean, this morning we saw a fatal accident, about 8 people losing their lives in the country, in the Free State, and it is a sad one. And then highlighting here the issue of the buses and speed. You know, people have lost their lives. A number of people have lost their lives. There is a bus that is caught on social media with the speedometer at over 120 kilometers per hour. We're going to be speaking to that because this was a bus that was driving past and somebody else was recording the speed at what speed they were doing. And when the bus whizzed past, it was quite shocking. So all that and more coming up on Africa Update.
All right, we're looking forward to that, Lulu. Let's go directly into that. Thank you for joining us right here on Channel Africa. We go right into the Africa Update with Lulu Kapu. Until next time, from me, Benjamin Moshatama. God bless everyone.